Yes, hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Look, you could be anywhere in the world really watching this. Wherever you are, it is a pleasure to have you back here. We're back in Melbourne, the All Schools Championships of Australia, the 50th edition at that is on deck. This is day number 1 of 4. Can you believe it? You blink your eyes, you open them again. The athletic season is back. You are here with Mitch Dyer, and to my right-hand shoulder, one of the best that we've got in the country. Definitely the best we've got in Victoria, that's for sure. It's Tim Crosby. Tim, hello to you.
Thank you, Mitch, and thanks for that high praise. Good to be here at Lakeside Stadium. Really nice summery conditions here. Nice little, as we were saying, would have been good if they were running the 100 heats down that straight today. The nice little tail breeze and good warm air. Big thank you to those who have set up this stadium. It's looking magnificent as it does here at Lakeside. So the Australian officials doing their job. Good to see all of the field events already starting to get underway, and a lot of excitement to start the program. Hammer. We've got some big names in the hammer throw to start the program, and it's going to be a really good competition. Before we start on the track, and we will be starting with our walks, I believe, with the first ones up, Mitch.
Yeah, absolutely. Our 3,000 metre race walks will be the first to kick off track events here. You can see that on screen. That's about 15 minutes away, but to your point, we'll go through these men's and women's hammer throws in a moment because there is some very deep talent in there. We're going to continue on with some pole vaults, back to the hammer. We'll stay in the fields, and then a couple more walks, and our flat 3,000 metre racing as well for the juniors will commence. So sort of always a good crescendo to the end of day number 1, you'd think. There's some serious talent out here. I mean, the depth of junior talent in this country at the moment is at a real sweet spot. And I feel like we say that a lot, but it is really just coming on strongly. We've got some that will be vying for some World Junior qualifying for Eugene next year. We've got some who are stepping up a couple of age groups, Tim. I mean, we really are just in this beautiful renaissance at the moment of junior track and field.
Yeah, it is indicative of the strength of Australian athletics at the moment, and that's what's that due to? Some really good coaching structures right across the nation, and it's good to see a lot of those coaches here, and we do welcome them here to Lakeside Stadium for a big weekend. They are the silent heroes of our sport.
Well, at times as well, it sometimes feels like iron sharpens iron a little bit, because the year that we've had in Australian athletics has been second to none. We just saw it in these presentations as well over in Monaco. We take home Field Event Female Athlete of the Year with Nicola Ollislagers. We get Bruce honoured for all of his work in the 50-plus years he's done in track and field. You know, we had a pretty successful World Championships given some injuries that were suffered prior to those championships. Our para event athletes as well. I mean, it's been a fantastic 2 years in athletics.
It certainly has, and it is great once again that the Australian All Schools is highlighting paras, and we've got some amazing Paralympians like Talaya Blacksmith here over the course of this weekend, and it'll be interesting to see how Talaya copes with these beautiful conditions down here in Melbourne. Perfect one day and Melbourne the next.
Well, if anybody arrived here on Monday, they would have been absolutely ropeable, particularly if you were coming from up north or out west. You would have thought, hold on a minute. Now, I don't remember flying back in time to winter, but yesterday's 30 degrees, today's 33. There's not much to be sad about now.
No, exactly right. Summer has arrived. So we're kicking off. Hammer throw is going to be one of the first events up, and from Queensland he got Connor Hopgood. He'll be favoured in that under-18 competition. 74.79 is best. He's the reigning Australian under-18 and under-20 champ, so he'd be eyeing off that World Under-20 qualifier, I assume, Mitch.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, he's going to get some opportunities moving forward. I think they're throwing the 5 kilo hammer here, so he's 1 kilo shy of what he needs, but you would think if he's throwing 74 with the 5, he needs, I think 68 odd with the 6. So this will be a good test for him, but to your point, I mean, he was dominant last year in these junior hammer throwing competitions. He takes out 2 national titles. He had some good company behind him there as well, Xavier Luima and Mitch Conway, just to name a few. So it's a good, strong field out there early, and we've got pole vaulters warming up. We've got some long jumpers out there on the back straight. So in the words of Dave, the field and track, I suppose, has taken over early. And we can see, I think that was Talaya Blacksmith getting in some jumps out on that back straight as well. So to your point, there is some very serious para talent out here, and off the back of a really successful championships for those at the more elite level over in India.
I'm looking forward to the walks, as always, and we will be highlighting a few excellent walkers, and we believe that there will be an attempt, once again, on that World Under-20 qualification for the men. And we'll be looking to also to see, although she's too young for it, but Ella Uzan has stepped up in age and up in distance to go from the 3K to the 5K. So young Ella from Victoria will be attempting to go for that meet record in the under-17s.
At just 15 years of age, there's something about that age in Australia at the moment, because we seem to be having quite a few. Tate Van Camp, another one in that age bracket who's doing some incredible things. So it would be nice to see the young Victorian on a home track. Now, she will be very familiar with the lakeside winds, so this will come as no shock when it starts to swirl its way around the bowl of this stadium. Now, talk about Melbourne weather. I feel like the lakeside winds tie perfectly into that, because one day it's as still as anything. The next day, it is like a hurricane in here. So we're probably in a middle ground at the moment. You can judge by the winds over that first bend, but it'll be really, really good to see the young Victorian who took that national under-16 record earlier this year go and get after a World Junior qualifier, although we'll have to watch on from home.
Well, he certainly will. Now, there will be some good action also in the 3,000 metres, and going through some of the results and those turning up, we've actually a fair smattering of people who ran in the Ballarat National Cross Country, Mitch, and some very good place getters there have made their way into the 3K events here. So that'll be, although they're going from the mud pits in Ballarat to the flat track here in Lakeside, but it will be interesting to see how they transition from one season to the other.
Yeah, absolutely. And a couple that have come off the back of those World Junior Cross Trials as well out in Stromlo just last week. So a fresh turnaround. I mentioned Kieran Shepherd earlier. He is certainly one to watch. He may have booked himself a spot on that World Junior team. We'll wait. That is announced officially tomorrow. But this pedigree of distance running, particularly it feels like at the moment. I mean, I see young Archie Sidorides as well. The Victorian will be one to watch in these events. Batonis, all these familiar names that we've been really calling the last 2 years from that Nationals last year in Brisbane that was so perfectly highlighted by the amazing efforts of young Gout, Tubel Philp, that entire sprinting fraternity. Somebody here this weekend, or if not one, a few, will give themselves the opportunity to really create a really strong season to come, because we saw it on multiple cases last year.
Certainly do, and these competitions are the ones where the opportunities are presented. This is where they can step out and say, well, I'm a name to watch for the future. And we've seen so many jump out of the all schools into the under 20 and then the open ranks and continue on in fine form, including the likes of Jessica Hull and various others, Lyndon Hall. And it will be good to see that next generation coming through over the course of this weekend.
Well, the importance of these juniors and these junior teams, Tim, it can't be understated. If you go to these most recent World Champs, I think all but one medal was won from the 2014 World Juniors squad. Now, admittedly, that's 11 years in the making, but it goes to show, and you know where that was? Eugene. We roll back Oregon. Around there next time, this time next year. So it's just such a crucial part of developing in athletics, and also, to your point, forming a familiar sort of relationship with your coaches and the coaches that are far and wide and the peripheries and all those sort of things. So this is really where we get to see the infancy of a lot of these future senior careers, and if we nurture them right, maybe, just maybe, until Olympics time, we might see them rolling around here in Brisbane.
Well, I think it's big credit also, Mitch, to the team of Australian Athletics who do, working with the coaches to do that nurturing and that age progression, because it used to be, I'd say, the graveyard of athletes was making it to junior, world junior competitions and never making the step forward. But as you're saying, the statistics are now showing that in Australia we are able to now nurture them through those important ages of 17, 18, 19, 20 and get them into the adult ranks, and then continue to be actually contenders rather than making up heats.
Absolutely.
We're in a great situation.
Yeah, well, we start here with our hammer throw. Like we said, we got Xavier Luima, who's out there in front. It was a no throw for Connor Hopgood in that first round. We go, it is our silver medalist from last year leads through round number one. Our bronze medalist is in second place, Mitch Conway, and then Tom Latcham sits now in third, but we're waiting for a clean attempt there from Connor Hopgood. So this hammer throw is underway. It's been an event in this country. Alex Hulley was probably really the last hammer thrower that probably grabbed it bull by the horns. I mean, Matt Denny in his junior career was a world youth medalist in the hammer throw. And you know what? In the end, the reason he's stuck with discus is because there wasn't enough hammer throw competitions on the international circuit. So evidently a great decision, but we're really waiting for that next big hammer thrower to come through the ranks. So this is where we're going to see our juniors start to develop from here.
Ned Weverly might have the meet record. Now, Ned, great athlete in Victoria. Very lively character. He went off to a World Juniors, I think, in Colombia.
He did.
He went to that one.
Yeah, spot on.
Now pounding the beat as a policeman.
Would you know how far Ned threw? Would you be willing to guess?
About 80 metres.
80.32. Yeah. You're good, Tim. You're very good. Ned Weatherly. And how many Victorian championships would Ned Weatherly have won? He'd be pushing the record.
Oh, I've actually done my stats on that. We've got a female who had about 30 Victorian championships over the period of time in the field. But Ned certainly has won many Victorian championships here, and also Australian champs.
Wow. 30. That's not bad, is it? So our women's hammer throw also going on. I believe that will be out at the warm-up track, so we won't have vision of that as our pole vaulters continue to warm up. It's Arielle Cannell who leads with her first round attempt of 60-10. Then Sophie Sears and Brianna Williams. That's the 1, 2, 3. A gap, though. 60 metres 10, and then Brianna Williams, who's in third. She's thrown 50.89. So a gap from gold to bronze, but Arielle in control. 59.77 was also her second round attempt. So clearly that 60-metre marker is a very consistent throw there. And if that is the case, that would be, depending on it, it should be fine. The World Junior qualifier here is 57.50. So that would be out over that. So if we're hunting World Junior qualifiers, if I've done my numbers correctly, might already have one out there.
Now, bear in mind, all results coming through on Roster Athletics, so you can be getting, that's where Mitch is feeding this wonderful commentary from. Roster has got the live field results coming through, so you can go round by round. As we see on the far side of the track, Mitch, the first of our track events will be underway soon, the Walkers. We'll be starting that one with the under-14 girls.
And this is always a fun age group, Tim, because we haven't really seen much of these young athletes. So there's a bit of statistics, and you can go off state championships and a few of those results and get onto the road racing of race walking. But this is really a good opportunity for them to put themselves out there on a national scale. Now, in this age group and at this age, it's not uncommon to see the women walking faster than the men as well. So you can expect possibly that this will be the fastest of our two junior race walking events. But it's fantastic to see them out here on the track. And I'm always in this camp. I live deeply in this camp that race walking is one of, if not the most successful events that Australia has on an international scene year in, year out. And it all starts here in these junior divisions. And you look at the record holders of all schools, and they've probably mostly gone on to be Olympians, if not medalists at major champs. So it's exciting to see them step out for the first time. So you see them here. This is the full field.
The boys para under 15 long jump.
Matilda Webb's 14.21 back in 2022 is the championship record. Got maybe one or two. It looks like New South Wales competitor Ashley Mansell will be the watch on records, state champ. Now tries to replicate that at the Nationals.
Actually definitely coming in as the event favourite here in the under-14 walk. 14.37 her best time. She won the All Schools up in New South Wales in 15.50. Also got the winner from the Victorian All Schools. 16.24 was Indigo Marshall Moody taking out the Vic champs here, and Pippa Reid was second to her. And also from Queensland, second up at their All Schools with a 16.22, Isabella Welsh. So Ashley definitely the favourite for the event, but as we know, anything can happen in the walks. Bit of a warm night, but hopefully Ashley won't be too impacted by conditions here.
Well, their under-20 para long jump is underway. We can see Talea Blacksmith here on screen. I couldn't quite see if it was clean waiting. No. So a foul on the first round. But Sienna Newton, our F38 competitor, gets a lifetime best off the rip. 4:31 for her. 4:22 former lifetime best. So not a bad way to start your national championships on that back straight. To your point, Tim, our Paralympian Talia Blacksmith. Have to wait for round 2 to get a clean jump on the board. So it's been a long time since we've had these all schools here. Well, I should say in Melbourne. They weren't here at Lakeside the last time we had them. They were out in Doncaster, but it's nice to have them back down here in Victoria.
Yeah, it certainly is. I think it might have been during the build phase of Lakeside that we might have been out at Donny. Going back quite a while, Steve Solomon was a big standout from that one. He was certainly coming through as an emerging 400-metre runner. And I think Steve Solomon at that particular All Schools was the star of the show. The competitors now getting on the line, ready for our first of our track events, the under 14 3,000 metre walk.
So we'll allow them to get underway and we'll call out this full field for you. It's a field of 10, a great spread of states. Tassie looks like they've got the new uniform. A little bit of a change up in the grey and the green, or a little bit of a different design. Always one of my favourite kits. I love the grey and the green. We'll get underway. So the first of our track events here at the All Schools is now underway. There's 10 under 14 women contesting this 3,000 metre race walk. Kate Hamlin, Liliana Templar, Isabella Welsh, Ashley Mansell, Indigo Marshall Moody, Piper Reed, Mackenzie Silito, Charlotte Dix, Adele Woodard, and Violetta Boyd. In that order, that's hip numbers 1 through 10. Unsurprisingly, Ashley Mansell is straight to the front of this group, the fastest on paper, and will lead out a strong group of 9 behind. A few will try and roll through. Indigo Marshall Moody, the first to respond, the Victorian, closely followed by Welch of Queensland, and then a little further back is Pippa Reed. So they've all found some clean walking space here. Nobody will be chopped up. All the strides, all the contact, everything can stay nice and tidy. Our judges out on track do a fantastic job in being able to observe the rules of the race walk. But our young athlete from New South Wales, Ashley Mansell, out there in front, out there quickly. And it will be a game of catch me if you can to kick things off on the track here at the All Schools.
So just for a bit of context, 14:21.15 is the meet record, and that's an average of around 4:47 per kilometre, Mitch. So once they go through here at the 1K mark, we'll have a good idea of how Ashley is actually tracking along. But good to see a bit of competition out there. So there's certainly 3 in the mix as they head to the 400 metre mark.
Yeah, Isabella Welch, a Queenslander, so she's got a 15:07 to her name. So if we play the game on paper, she's 30 seconds behind our athlete out in front. But when you're at a national championships, times really do become quite irrelevant. It's all about the pursuit of trying to win one of these national titles. They only come by once a year. So if you've got the fitness and you've got the ability, you're best to just leave it out on the track. And it seems clear that Isabella Welsh is going to do just that and not give our favourite in Ashley Mansell too much room to work with in these opening stages of the 3,000 metre race walk. So gap back then to the Victorian and Indigo Marshall Moody, as the rest of the field behind will just work their way through here. We got one on the shoulder there from Western Australia, applying some pressure on our young Victorian and Piper Reed, and that'll be Solito. So that's a good watch there. That'll be a battle in and amongst itself, but these two out in front doing a good job to set tempo.
Yeah, so similar seed times from both Reed and Solito. So they'll be side by side at the moment. We're just seeing Solito just trying to edge forward up on Pippa Reed there as they come through to get 6 laps to go.
So continuing with the field events as well, we'll give you some updates as they make their way through. But this will be a really good watch for those on at home. We get the benefit of the split screen to be able to see, or you can see it up on the big board past the start-finish line as well. All of our crew here at Australian Athletics Victoria, everybody who volunteers, and the crew behind the scenes doing a fantastic job to give the best coverage and the best support possible on a classic Melbourne summer night where it may be 30 degrees, but you're anxious and you bring your rain jacket just in case, with the clouds forming and the wind swirling. So through the opening 800 metres, it was around 3:44, somewhere in that vicinity for Mansell and Welch, who seemed to be in rhythm, though Mansell keen to be able to maybe just drop off her counterpart in Welch where she can. I don't think it'll come easy at this stage. It looks very, very happy to just lock in on the back of Ashley Mansell. You wonder what the conversation was pre-race. If it was this, it's being executed to perfection.
No, definitely good walking here by Welsh, because you're just in the slipstream too, because coming down now, they've got a bit of a tailwind, but down the back straight, there's definitely a headwind they'd be going into. So this is a very good tactic here from Isabella. But how good is Ashley looking though? Very relaxed as they come through. And this will be the 1 kilometre mark. And what did I say? 4:47 was target for... So 4:42 through the opening kilometre. So they are on meet record target time at the moment.
So it was 4th earlier this year in Perth, was Welsh at the National Championship. So very keen to upgrade the hardware and has put herself in the perfect position to do just that. As we see this field continue to move, Indigo Marshall Moody still sits there in 3rd. In pursuit, though, Solido from WA.
Then a bit of a gap back to Reed, and alongside her is Lillian Templar from South Australia, so she's just making a passing move on Pippa Reed. No real change out front though, just going stride for stride, around a metre the difference between the two lead athletes. Heading towards the 1200 metre mark, 3 laps down in the 3000 metre event here. Any more updates from out in field at the moment, Mitch?
Yes, let's give you some hammer throw updates here for the men's under 18. So now Connor gets that clean throw in the second round. He moves up to 71.61 metres. So at the moment, he's ahead, though Xavier Luema looks like he's edged himself over 70 maybe for the first time. 70.10 for him. So not going to be easy for Hopgood. And then Latcham sits there in 3rd, 73.31, or 57.31, apologies. And then Mitch Conway, 56.67. So not too far away from 4th to 3rd either. They'll continue. You can see them spinning in the middle of the track there. They will heave that thing out well over 70 metres, as we can see now. Ariel Cannell out on the warm-up track, 61.97. Then Sears in second, 58.77. And then Saunders in 3rd at the moment through 3 rounds with 51.13. We go to the para under 15 long jump. If we're going in distance order, Matthew Rumsey, our F38 athlete, 4:14. Xavier Wilson, 3:70. Elijah Duckworth, 3:52. Mike Cowan, 2:29. And Taj Appleby just at 87 centimetres there. So, women's under 20 para, Shona Willis, 4.60 metres. Sienna Newton, 4:31. Bracius Brittain, 4:15. Sophie Thompson, 4:08. Alexis Bruce, 3:39. Alice Huddy, 3:35. And into round 2, Talea Blacksmith. Still no jump as of yet. So we'll have to wait for round 3 to see what happens there. So the field events are close, and so are our track events. These two out in front, well, they've hardly been separated at all. One of them's going to be a national champion for the first time if it does come from one of these two. So Ashley Mansell, she was 2nd at the Nationals earlier this year, and we're dealing with the bronze medal, the 4th place getter right behind her there in Welch. So again, it just you get the sense that Mansell maybe just finds a little bit more and starts to move away, but it's a tough competitor behind in Isabella Welch. She'll take a lot of confidence from where she's at right now in this stage of the race.
Now we have had a change in the minor placing with Solido of Western Australia moving into that 3rd position. Now obviously this is all subject to the judges too, Mitch, so we won't get too carried away with winners and place getters until we get that final nod from our judges. But we'll call the race as we see it, with Mansell just controlling pace out front. But gee, this is a really brave performance from the Queenslander, and it'll be interesting to see if she can just hang in there.
I will say this as well, Solido putting in a pretty big surge there in third. Now, there's a bit of room to make up. I'm not trying to suggest anything crazy here, but...
It's probably about 70 metres, but you never know, as we sort of will be heading into that third kilometre relatively soon.
So just keep an eye on that.
I think a little bit of a gap forming 1 to 2 now, though. So Mansell's now out by about 4 to 5 metres, and that gap just starting to grow as she comes down to get 3 laps to go. And as you say, though, Solito, I think could be starting to eye off that lead group, because she is starting to pull in, certainly into second position.
Yeah, so it's bided her time really well. Just picked up the Victorian there in third. That was Marshall Moody, and now Solito really just is locked on to 2 in front of her, but beautifully called there, Team Ashley Mansell. I was saying this on the back straight. It just felt like for a period there, it was keen to just get away and maybe just see what her counterpart in Welch had in her, and she's held on tough for a long period of time, but you can really just see the class start to form now out there for our New South Wales woman. So finally gets a little bit of breathing space. She can really walk in her own headspace here at the moment, as our tough competitor in Isabella Welch just continues there in second, and I think this will be an interesting watch for Mackenzie Solito there in the third place at the moment. We'll make our way around a few more, but now, Tim, you called it, and I think you nailed the distance, about 70 metres, and that was less than a lap ago. And that's crept into about 40-odd metres now. So, again, they're going to come around here. Next time you'll see them on the home stretch, that will be 2 laps to go. But out in front, it's Ashley Mansell. And, again, we'll wait for the judges, but at the moment, looks like good walking.
Now, just hitting the 2K mark now, 10:18, so it has unfortunately slipped off the required pacing for a meet record, but Mansell still walking very nicely and really starting to split that gap. But now we're seeing Solito, I think, just getting a little bit of a sniff there, Mitch, and I think she'll be seeing that, well, she's coming back step by step, and this could be a very interesting last kilometre, as Solito at 10:38. So she's about 20 seconds adrift of the leader, and right in the middle, probably 10 seconds either side, we do have Isabella Welsh from Queensland.
It's always an interesting one in the walk, because obviously you've got technique to be concerned about as well. So when you are trying to really push and try and get after one of those athletes in front, you still have to keep in consideration staying controlled, staying relaxed, and keeping everything in touch. We can see the 10:18 split there at the 2K marker. So again, we're just fascinated by what's happening in front of our race leader, because she's in total control, Ashley Mansell. It's an interesting one, though, for those minor medals, but really made a strong move 400 metres ago and hasn't looked back since.
Welsh has been extremely brave, so certainly put it out there with Mansell over those opening laps. Now we're seeing Solito from Western Australia just sort of drag her in step by step as they approach the 2 laps to go. So 800 metres out now for Welsh. The Victorian still sitting in 4th position there, and that's Marshall Moody, the Victorian All Schools champion. And I'm not sure she'll be threatened in that position. The ones just behind her, I think, have been lapped. But out front, we're now out to maybe a 40-metre gap for our leader.
Yeah, and it's a really good point. Isabella Welsh was brave. She just stuck right on the heels there of Ashley Mansell, and might be able to reap the rewards of a national medal here at this stage. As we said, 700 metres to go. Talia Blacksmith on the back straight. Launches out her 3rd round attempt, and a foul there as well. Unfortunate for our young superstar out of New South Wales. But Ashley Mansell in front, and now putting in just a really strong, hard last 250 metres is Isabella Welsh, and just wants to maintain and continue to hold on to that silver medal. Just keep that hardware in the hands. Mackenzie Solito, though, will not give up a pursuit at this stage. It's 600 metres to go here now in our women's under 14 3,000 metre race walk. Tim's is kind of hop good in the middle. Has let that rip straight down the middle of the track. And
unfortunately, a red flag.
That's a shame.
So a foul there for Connor. But it certainly had there was a nice looking throw, but unfortunately not on the board.
So we'll have to wait for one more attempt. Now, the greatest sound in any middle distance race is about to be heard, echoed across the track. And by God, do you just hang out for it? No matter whether you're feeling good or you're not feeling too great, the sound of the bell is always a clean indication that it's all nearly over. But for Ashley Mansell, I'm sure she'd love to do a couple more laps at the way she's walking. She's just been so strong over the closing stages of this 3,000 metre race walk. And here it is, the bell lap here in the under 14 event, 13:49 with 1 lap to go here. And we can see the grit and determination of Isabella Welsh in second and Mackenzie Solito in that bronze position.
I'm impressed by Welsh because she certainly lifted on that lap. It looked like Solito was drawing in, but that gap has not moved for the last probably 400 metres. So as Isabella, was brave early, she's let Ashley slip away. Mackenzie challenging. It's going to be an interesting last 300 metres, but has Welsh got the gap now? So that's on a walk that is looking like, about a 20 metre gap. That's a hard one to bring in.
So it'll be an interesting watch. The check on the inside shoulder there from Isabella Welch will just be really keen to maintain here at the moment. The gap hasn't been formed too much bigger either from Ashley Mansell, it should be said. Just put in such a strong effort towards the back stages of that second kilometre and really just broke this field apart. As we now see Indigo Marshall Moody come through here behind the South Australian is Liliana Templar. And these are our next two across the line to hear the sound of the bell. But 200 metres remaining up there, just off that back straight for the last time, is Ashley Mansell, who just has to navigate this final 150 metres to take out a maiden national title for her. And she's done it in a very strong way over the 3,000 metre journey.
Solito trying to do another little challenge here. You could just see the lifting of the tempo down the back straight, but Welsh just holding on. The key now for Isabella is just to maintain composure over that last 150 metres. She'll know that there is a challenger coming, but I think Mackenzie's probably going to run out of room here as we see our leader into the home straight, Mitch, and what a great performance it's been.
And what a fantastic performance, Tim. So a big round of applause here on the track. This is the first national title we're going to be handing out across 4 extravagant days of athletics. And Ashley Mansell, this will be her first national title. I'm sure it won't be her last at the way she's walked down this home straight for the under 14, 3,000 metres. It'll be just over that 16-minute marker, you would think, if not just under. Salutes as the national champ.
So great performance there. The meet record lives to fight another day, but now we're seeing Welsh, and Welsh is not going to lose any friends. Warm conditions, warm windy conditions out there today at Lakeside, and she's walked very comfortably here to come in for the silver medal, subject to our judges and Solito, Mackenzie Solito, Western Australia. First score on the board there for the Western Australians, and she then finishes beautifully. So the first 3 across the line. As we say, though, it will be subject to our judges.
Well, a massive smile on the face there of Mackenzie Solito as she crossed the line. Clearly very happy to be bringing home a bronze medal over West. And to your point, Tim, it was a really strong race. I mean, the pressure was probably felt a little bit there from the Queenslander, but just managed to hold on and maintain. And if that's not one of the harder things to do in a long event like that, where you know the pressure is hammering down on you, but to be able to hold on, as we now see our South Australian come on through here, well done. I think that's Liliana Templar.
Yeah, so she's come through nicely there, Liliana. So well-judged performance from her. And then we have got the first of the Victorians, Marshall Moody. So Indigo Marshall Moody through next. And then looks our next finish will be the other Queenslander, Violetta Boyd, coming through. And then Pippa Reid, second of the Victorians. So some really accomplished walking out here today, Mitch, in relatively trying conditions. So the heat would have really got them in that last couple of kilometres. As we saw, the early kilometre was quite quick, but yeah, going through the mid-stages, that's when the heat starts to take its toll.
So somebody must be watching on, or a few people must be watching on from Western Australia. We saw Mackenzie Solito just get handed the mobile phone and have a quick conversation. So I'd love to know who was on there, whether it was mum, dad, coach, whoever it may be. I mean, it's been taken away now. I don't know if you're allowed to do that.
It might have been the Premier of Western Australia. Wishing her very good luck.
Either way, we love to know that people are watching on from somewhere, and it's a performance worth ringing about when you come home with a national medal. So congratulations. Indigo Marshall Moody came through for 5th. Violetta Boyd, the Queenslander, comes through for 6th. And we now see Pippa Reid as well, 17:28. Officially for her as well. Now, again, it's always important to reiterate, up to our judges. They'll do everything after this to figure out if everybody's walked cleanly and everybody gets through okay. There's some more of our competitors round around in here. And it looks like it's Hamlin and Woodward.
So probably getting the bell lap here, I think, Mitch. So one to go for them. So let's keep our support going for all of our walkers. As we say, it's reasonably tough out there. Warmish day here in Melbourne. And the endurance events definitely will be tested. So the bell rings for the two final competitors, and they're locked together. No real change. They've been in the same order virtually the whole way round.
Well, this feels similar to what we saw through the early stages with our gold and silver medalists. They were just on each other's heels. You just could not separate them at all. They seem to just love each other's company out here at the moment here. Kate Hamlin and Adele Woodward, the Tasmanian and the South Australian.
I think the key for them now, though, is just get that legal performance up. And I think they do both look to be walking quite conservatively and quite legally, which is good. So they just want to get that score on the board.
Yeah, certainly not flighty race walkers, that's for sure. Just very smooth and in control of their technique, which is exactly what you want to be. I feel like one of the great compliments for race walkers, if I told you were a safe race walker, I think you would be very, very happy to hear that. So they're bridging up. They're ready to go with 300 metres to go. And these two have been in a great, I won't even call it battle, they've been in a great push against one another in the entirety of this under-14 event. And it is Adele Woodward of Tasmania who leads out Kate Hamlin of South Australia around the back straight for the final time for our first track event, our first of this entire championships. And it's going to be a big, big 3 days ahead after tonight. So 200 metres to go here for Woodward and Hamlin. And now Kate Hamlin just gets around that outside shoulder. So gets a little quick step there on Adele Woodward. Does Kate. And again, just two very safe walkers, very in control of the technique. With 120 metres to go, it is Hamlin now who leads out from Woodward.
Yeah, nice little move, because not leading it too late, deciding, just getting a little bit of a break. And look, it's good to see it so competitive also at tail end of the field. But plaudits to both of these walkers. They've looked really good, worked together so well through the mid stages of the event. But we're seeing Hamlin just getting a little bit of a kick forward here as she approaches the finish line. Just over 21 minutes now, Mitch, on the clock, and some really good walking for all of our girls in that under-14 competition.
Absolutely. So I think that may be Liliana Templar who's down there supporting on her fellow stateswoman, which is beautiful to see, as per usual. Great sportsmanship and camaraderie here in athletics as we see for the final time here in this under-14 race walk. This will be Kate Hamlin who finishes things off with a quick final 100 metres at that. And Adele Woodward, who's walked on strongly, will also finish off her national championships here in Victoria to round out our women's under-14 3,000 metre race walk. So we can see here Ashley Mansell salutes the two arms up. I think we'll be seeing plenty of that across the weekend. It's a popular celebration at that. And just by the skin of her teeth underneath that 16 minutes. So congratulations to our national champion. We'll continue with track action in a moment. We've got our men's under-14 3,000 metre race walk to come. Still plenty of field events, plenty happening here from wherever you're watching around the country, around the world. We're going to throw to an ad, and we'll be right back here in Melbourne at the National All Schools Championships. told you we would be quick, did I not? That was blistering. So we're back here. We've got them on the line now. Men's under 14, 3,000 metre race walk. We'll give you a hammer throw update here as well. We can see it in the hands. Now, if you've never seen a hammer throw before, if you're watching on from home, and you were expecting a hammer, you would be amazed at how many people actually do anticipate that they're just throwing physical hammers out there. They're not. They are very heavy balls. Now, the men are throwing 5 kilos. The women a bit lighter than that. But you can see the results here at the moment. So it's Connor Hopgood, last year's national champ. In fact, I think we've got them in the exact order of gold, silver and bronze that we saw last year. Though Hopgood launched one out in round number 3, but it was a foul. And he was none too pleased with that, was the Queenslander. And now they roll on here. We can see our North Queensland competitor getting in the ring. But here we go. This is our men's under 14, 3,000 metre race walk. And again, a smaller field than what we saw for the women, but still a quality field. Looks like a pretty even mix here of states. We've got the ACT, Queensland, New South Wales, WA and Victoria all represented here for our second event on the track. I promised after a period of time I won't keep telling you how many events we've had on the track. I will lose count, which I know is hard to believe, but talking is more my strong suit, more than the math part of it. I'll leave the math part to Tim. But I'll give you the full field of 7 once they make their way around. Tim, there'll be some nervous energy on the line. Like I said, this is really the first time they step out into the national limelight and exposure. It takes a bit to learn how to harness that energy, I think, at a national champs, but they seem to be doing a pretty good job, these young fellas.
It's probably 3 of them in contention here, so it'll be interesting to watch that tactics early once they get them underway.
There we go. Some good shaking of the hands from Lincoln Moore. I like that. I think we should be bringing that into more senior athletics. Everybody lining up, shaking hands. Too serious.
Yeah, nothing wrong with good sportsmanship, and to see them at that age demonstrating that it's a really positive thing.
Absolutely. So Lincoln's ready. He's ready to go. He's got his hips moving. He's pre-race walking the race walk. He's shaking hands. And his arms across. I'm fascinated. I'm watching on. And I reckon there'll be some fast starters off the line here. This opening 150 odd metres will be quick because it's somewhat of a mad dash to the rail to just get on that inside of the track and not have to put in any more metres than you really need to. So this will be the choppiest part of the race walk. Typically is this opening 150 metres of just figuring it out and figuring out your competitors. So you can probably see at home, this Melbourne weather is being very Melbourne at the moment. It's overcast, then it's too hot, it's a bit windy. You're trying to prepare and you're trying to figure out exactly what you need to be doing. Some have rocked the sunnies, which I like. I think that's smart. There we go. Can you see what we're dealing with here? And good luck predicting where those clouds are going, because I know there'll be some meteorologists out there telling me that it's about to push on past and we should be fine, but it just feels as though meteorology doesn't pertain to Melbourne, because what seems logical is never quite right.
I think you've lived here long enough to know that, Mitch. So we just got them on the start line ready to go. 7 competitors. And we will introduce the field once they are underway. So underway now. We have 7 competitors in Station 1. Tate McQueen from Victoria. From Western Australia, we have Tate Moore in Station 2. Feet to Helva Diaz from Victoria in 3. From New South Wales, Lincoln Moore in Station 4. Station 5 has Alexander Dennett from New South Wales. From Queensland, we have Leo Ramsey in 6, and rounding out the field from the ACT, Sebastian Ryan in Station 7. Very close start here, Mitch, and it is a little bit of a, not pushing and shoving, but certainly they're trying to assert themselves, and I can already see one of our competitors getting a little bit of a warning there as they came around that first bend.
Yeah, well, it's just the excitement, it's the anticipation of getting out for your first nationals and also just feeling it out and figuring out exactly where you want to be. There is an absolutely infectious smile on the face of our young Victorian in Helva Diaz there. So he slots into third. It just looked like he was trying to find a position, and he's just tucked right in on the shoulder there of our 2 New South Walesmen who are doing a good job to set tempo, and Moore and Dennett. And I would think that they're going to be 2 big ones to watch as this race continues to unfold. So at the moment, it's a pack of Victorians, New South Welshmen, and also our lone man from the nation's capital at the moment, and that is Sebastian Ryan. And then a gap back to our Western Australian in Moore, and just behind him, Queenslander in Leo Ramsey. But this pack of 4 seems to be working well.
So Lincoln Moore, probably our top seed here. He is the New South Wales All-Schools champion. Relatively slow time there of a 16:42, but we would have been taking into consideration conditions there. He's a 15:30 is his advertised personal best. But not too far behind him is Tate McQueen, the 2 Victorians. But we're seeing probably the lead Victorian there at the moment is Fita Helva Diaz. He won the All-Schools here in 15:37 with Tate McQueen second in 15:55. But McQueen does have a 15:32 to his name. So the other New South Welshman up there at the moment, and that is Alexander Dennett. And he's got a best here, or advertised best of 16:43. So batting a little bit of above his weight there, but certainly putting it down at the moment. In the gap, I think that's the young man from the ACT, Sebastian Ryan. But that lead group of 4 inseparable at the moment. So 13:46.48 is the meet record, and that's an average of 4:35 per kilometre. That's about my park run race time.
Okay, so if you needed a barometer, there is your barometer. And that was Tyler Jones back in 2011. So that's stood for a long time there, in 2011. And these 4 gentlemen, it may not be quite that quick, but it's certainly going to be an interesting race because, as you said, the advertised time of Dennett isn't an indication of the way he's racing this national title at the moment. Is the young man from New South Wales, so just makes his way around Lincoln Moore.
Just trying to edge forward there. Mitch, interesting strategy early on, given he's the lowest seed of this group, but he may know more about himself than we do, and he's now clearly taken the lead with Moore in second. And then we have the Victorian in Helva Diaz in next spot. A little bit of a gap then forming to our next Victorian, Tate McQueen.
Yeah, well, at this stage, sitting in that 4th spot, when you know that pace maybe is a little too hot for you at the moment, it's just about gauging and probably sustaining your energy to the best of your abilities. Now, we're going to have 5 laps to go when they roll their way around here. It is about making sure you have something in the tank when you get 2 laps to go and 3 laps to go. And maybe he's doing just that, the young Victorian. But the tempo being set up front here from Alexander Dennett is hold on or watch me go. There's only 2 options here at the moment, and they're doing a good job there in Lincoln Moore to respond, and so too Fita Helva Diaz. And as you said, he's walked in that 15:30 range before, so unsurprising to see him latch onto the back of these 2 out in front, but all look relatively comfortable at this tempo here, so it'll be interesting to see if there even is a break.
In a good position as Helva Diaz, I'd say. He's just sitting in that 3rd position, not doing any of the work. It's a really interesting strategy from Dennett, because even at the New South Wales All-Schools, he was a full minute behind Lincoln Moore. So he was 17:50 in that particular meet, which wasn't that long ago. But, geez, putting it out there. Similar to what I think we saw with Isabella Welsh in that first race. And why not? You're on the big stage here. Really give it a go. You're not going to lose any friends by having a red-hot dip here at the All-Schools. And that's exactly what we're seeing from Alexander Dennett at the moment. 16:43 is his best. And we're going to get a good idea of how they're tracking. They're not on meet record because the 4:35's already gone past, but it's going to be a reasonably fast time. But remember, you said often the girls can be quicker. I think over that first kilometre, the girls definitely work quicker over the first K. But let's see if the guys can just hold that pace and keep that rhythm going for the remaining 2 kilometres of this 3K journey.
Oh, certainly. So they'll get through this opening K, and I'm sure there's a good cheer squad of Alex Dennett fans back at home watching on the stream with a big, raucous, loud, supportive cheer as they go through at the 5-minute mark there. So they're on 15-minute pace.
15-minute pace. That's an easy calculation for us, Mitch. Even you should be able to cope with that one.
I've got that one. Yep. Multiply that by 3 and away we go. So that's a consistent pace, and it would be a pace that would be the fastest any of these 3 men have walked before in their lifetime by a big margin, to be over a 30-second PB. As now we see Alex Dennett just get the tap from his fellow statesman there in Lincoln Moore, and he says, thank you very much. That 5-minute pace was beautiful. I might just keep my foot on that gas a little bit longer and see if I can keep on pushing this one. There's going to have to be a response. The young Victorian seems keen in Halvard Diaz, but maybe, just maybe, wait and see what happens over a 600-metre odd period. Might get too far away, might do a little bit too much. This is where the games start to come into play.
I think Halvard Diaz really needs to make the move now, because you can't allow Moore to get too much of a break in this stage. And Halvard Diaz, I think it's in his best interest to probably try and make the passing moves as we go through the 1,200-metre mark.
I will say this, Tim, and I will say this with a big amount of confidence. Just watch out for Tate McQueen there in 4th. Now, I've said it early in that first K. Maybe it's a situation where you sort of let them roll for a little bit and see whether they come back. They're going through in 5-minute Ks. That's faster than any of them have ever walked before. This could be a very interesting one, because what was 3 has become 1. What was 2 now becomes 3. So this is going to be some interesting math over the back stages of this one.
That's a very good call, Mitch, because Tate, it would look like he was dropping off, and he's now look like he's going to move straight into that second position. It looks like his teammate Feeder is just going to go with him now. So that was the nudge he needed. It was all right to sit behind a New South Welshman, but he can't have a big Vigo pass without challenging. So Tate's really thrown it down, and I think he's probably now looking forward and thinking, okay, if I bide my time for the next kilometre or so, this could be a very interesting race as we go through 4 laps to go, the metric mile.
Most certainly is. So that was a huge, huge lap from Tate McQueen, who really, in the conversation of what we were seeing in the first 5 minutes, which was the first kilometre, it was, okay, here's 1, 2, 3, and now in the span of about 420 odd metres, Tate McQueen puts himself in a silver medal position and pushing at that. It's not a long stretch silver medal. It's not one that feels like it's impossible to maybe go and get one ahead, though. As I say that now, it's Lincoln Moore who continues to push that tempo, though. I'm always aware of an inside shoulder check and the psyche of what that would mean. Let's just see what these 2 young Victorians have in them, but they've got their work cut out for them to go and get after Lincoln Moore.
Just assessing styles as we can do down the back straight, and the Victorians are moving very fluidly. Not to say Moore isn't still looking good, but they've got the benefit of being together and really trying to work it through. Bear in mind too that McQueen does have the second best time, and as we see Diaz maybe no, he thought about it and then he edged back again. So McQueen's still leading that chase pack. If I was Feeder, I'd probably just sit back there for the moment, still in the mid stages.
Well, shout out Alex Dennett for the work he did in that opening kilometre. He really set this race up to be what it is. He sits there in 4th, and it'll be a hard-fought 4th at that. So certainly, as you said, won't lose any fans, will Alex Dennett, in his pursuit to try and get after a national medal. But as it stands at the moment, it is Lincoln Moore with just one more check, just wants to see where this group is behind. But out walking on his own, it's a different type of psyche when you're in that position. You are now the one being hunted. Often easier to be the hunter, as we can now see someone's a bit hungry, and that's Tate McQueen. He is in the pursuit. And it's been interesting because you would have to say that Fiti Halford Diaz has been the one to really respond and push. But now Tate McQueen said, I've had enough of that. Here we go now. We cannot let him get too far away. You with me or you're not? He's on his own.
Very mature performance, and I think we're seeing Feeder just struggling a little bit there. Maybe the heat's starting to get to him because it's a warm afternoon here, and yeah, he's just starting to feel the effects, I think, as we see Tate McQueen now starting to make that charge 3 laps out. This will be a very interesting finish as we see Alexander Dennett now eyeing off that 3rd position.
Well, this is just it, Tim. This is the benefit of when you do push the tempo and you put yourself in a medal position. It's not over till it's over. Correct. So we got just under 3 laps to go here now, and this 1, 2, 3 has really just been a whirlwind of, well, will they, won't they? And as we see here at the moment now, the young New South Welshman in Alexander Dennett gets in third. The Victorian latches on here as well. So it's just a very interesting game here in the 3,000 metre race walk. But out in front still Lincoln Moore. He's been the most consistent figure in terms of the medals. But we're getting to the crunch now. We're getting to the closing stages. And at Tate McQueen, he can sense it.
And we're approaching that 2 kilometre mark. So we will get the time check. They'll stop the clock for us at the 2K mark, and we're seeing a gap differential there of probably 5, 6, 7 metres at most as we hit the 2K mark in 10:39. So this is going to be a very interesting finish. 1K to go, and McQueen has, what a mature walk this has been from Tate McQueen. So whether he takes gold or silver here, and obviously still waiting for judges to make their decisions as well, but it has been a very good move. But gee, I think Moore's just heard that and he's surged. So Moore's now put on another couple of metres and is now out to 10 to 12 metres differential. And I think Moore just needed that little bit of incentive. 1K to go and he's really lifted.
Well, the good magician never reveals his secrets, and he's got a couple more tricks up his sleeve, you would think here, does Lincoln Moore. So he wants to see how this plays out over the closing 800 metres. But if I could say anything from what's happened over the initial 2,200, it's that Tate McQueen isn't someone who's going to take things lying down. He is keen and he is eager, and he will continue to push after a national gold. Out there cleanly in that third spot at the moment is Alexander Dennett, who again was the one to push that 5-minute opening first kilometre. We went through in around 5:39, whatever it may have been for the second. So you can see that pace really took it out of the legs as now our man from the ACT moves up into that 4th spot. As Fiete Halverdiers now just starts to slip back through this field, though. Brave racing in the early stages of this 3,000 metre walk. But, Lincoln Moore, he holds this distance. He just continues to maintain. Timmy may be doing enough.
I think he's doing enough there. He's just starting to stretch it out, and I really do feel for Fiete Halverdiers here. He's really put himself out there early. Sebastian Ryan from the ACT now moves clearly into 4th position, and now we're seeing the All-Schools champ from Queensland, Leo Ramsey. He's coming forward as well. And then our Western Australian in Tate Moore in next position.
Yeah, so we turn our attention to the back straight, and we can just see this is actually getting bigger here from Lincoln Moore. He is just really rising to the occasion. Tate McQueen is comfortable in that silver medal spot, and I'll tell you, he's found a little something, Alexander Dennett. He's found a little bit of a spark up this back straight. That gap is closing. It seems insurmountable, but to be honest with you, just about every tactic in this race has happened. I came enough to really call anything until we get into the final lap, but it would take an almighty effort to get after Lincoln Moore, who has just risen to the occasion every time. When the bar gets set a little bit higher, he just seems to go one step further, and it's been a real pleasure to watch him pick apart this 3,000 metre distance.
Yeah, and unfortunately Fiete Halverdiers has withdrawn from the race. He was just looking a little bit troubled and was holding his chest as he came across, so a few little issues there for Fiete, unfortunately. But we have a clear 1, 2, 3 at the moment, subject to our judges. Sebastian Ryan sitting in the 4th position, and then from Queensland is Ramsey, and then Tate Moore from Western Australia in next spot. But coming down, the sound of the bell.
The great sound of the bell. It is just the great feeling here, and Lincoln Moore's about to get it. So it's been a really, really good pursuit from Tate McQueen over the back stages. Like we said, he started a distant 4th. He let them walk out ahead of him. Now put himself in 2nd. Looked like there was a challenge there for Lincoln Moore, but Lincoln Moore has just shown his pedigree. He's shown what he can do over this 3,000 metre walk journey. Takes one more look on that inside shoulder. This will be the biggest gap our New South Welshman will have seen in terms of this race, but up to 300 metres to go. The tempo's not enough. He's just going to continue to wind it up here. So this is what the best do. They can just continue to rip through the gears. When you think that they're done, they've got one more to give, as now we see our young man from New South Wales, Alexander Dennett, the brave one, the one who really just wanted to put it to the boys and see what they could do. He's now sitting in that bronze medal position. and thoroughly deserved, as we see Seb Ryan will come through and get the bell as well in fourth. But Lincoln Moore, he has been in total control through the 2,800, and with 200 metres to go, I can't see anything changing for him.
No, an impressive last kilometre here from Moore. There's no doubt about that. He's turned probably a 5 metre gap into now about a 75 metre gap, and that has been very impressive walking. Once again, we'll wait for our judges to make their call, though. We won't preempt what their job, but Tate maybe put it in a little bit too hard to do the catch, but he's put himself clearly into second position. I can't see him being walked down over the last 200 metres. But we'll be watching also for Dennett's time. So 16:43 is his best. We're on 15:24 now as we go through the clock, and into the home straight for the last time comes our event leader.
So Lincoln Moore into the home straight here, ladies and gentlemen. He is the first across the line. Pending the judges' decisions, should be the national champion here in Melbourne. And as we said, he was challenged through the later stages of this 3,000 metre journey. You had to really find something, but every time the best get challenged, that's exactly what they do. The young man from New South Wales will salute, will cross the line here as the winner of the men's under 14 3,000 metre race walk. And I'll tell you what, he's within about 0.13 of a second of our women's gold medalist time as well. So, so consistent. But Liam Moore gets that national title.
So double wins across the line there for the New South Wales team, as we see Dennett trying to make a bit of a charge, but I think Tate's just got a little bit too much real estate between him and Alexander as they come into the final stretch. So Tate really pumping those arms, trying to get some momentum. Alexander a little bit smooth with the arm action, and heel to toe as he comes forward. And it's a very impressive time. So remember, 16:43 was his best. He's going to be just under that, I'd say, as Tate comes through provisionally second, and a new personal best if the judges give it to him there for Alexander Dennett. And what a performance from him.
Well, that's how you walk your way into a national medal, isn't it? Just get out there. And, you know, one of the harder things psychologically to do is when you probably have put it out there and put it out there in a big way, to be able to lock back in, to be able to keep that rhythm and keep that belief that you can get out there and get a medal, as we see now with Seb Ryan, who crosses the line as well, just a touch over 17 minutes. That would be his lifetime best too for fourth. But a big shout out to the work rate there of Alex Dennett. Thoroughly deserved bronze medal. So Western Australian Tate Moore.
Tate Moore across the line. Not quite a personal best for him. And our Queensland All Schools champion coming through next, and this is Leo Ramsey. 17:36, his personal best. He's just going to be shy of that as he crosses over. Unofficially, 17:39 there for Leo.
So well done.
A very entertaining race, Mitch. There's in the space of 3,000 metres, a lot happened.
Well, that's just it. People need to be tuning more into the walks, Tim, because there's always something happening here. And the next one's 5,000 metres, so we've got even more walking action to come. And this is a fascinating race. Now, we won't talk about it too much beforehand because we've got plenty to talk about during the 5,000. But a great way to kickstart our night of race walking action was with the youngest on the track to be able to do it, our under 14s. And while we wait for our next bout of race walkers, still plenty happening around the fields. So we can see some of these hammer throwers changing over in age groups, and we get a couple of updates, see how we went along.
Yeah, we're about to get underway in the men's under 17 hammer throw. So Kai Norton, Ryder Williams, Boston Trano, Cooper Dabin, Jasper Seymour, Thomas Bauman, Samuel Rossetti, Ewan Walker, and Charlie Bedford, our field there. And we'll try and keep you updated in the men's under 17.
It's good to see so many athletes in this junior pole vault. And again, we're talking about events that Australians seem to dominate on an international scale. Pole vault's another. Saw it this year with Curtis again, now a two-time World Championships bronze medalist. And our youngsters will probably try and emulate, if they can have even part of a career like that, they'd be very, very happy. We're going to bring up some results from our hammer throw. as we start to see some clearances here in the pole vault. And, geez, a good competition in the end here across the board. A tight competition in our men's under 18 hammer throw. Only a trickle over a metre in it in the end. So here it is. Connor Hopgood gets the best of it. He gets his gold medal again, 71.61. Xavier Luema, the Tasmanian, over 70 metres twice. He went 70.10, then 70.50. And Mitch Conway, 57.48 for him. Tom Latcham as well, 57.31. Amadou, Bedford, Billingsley, Toomey and Brownie is that top 9. Now, Connor Hopgood only got one throw out there, would you believe? And that was enough, 71.61 in the second round to take another national title.
That's a pro performance. So you can see the girls lining up for our next event on the track. We will once again call the field once they are underway.
So as we said, this pole vault, some great pole vaulters over our time extend further back. We had the Parnovs for the women before we had Nina. We obviously had Steve Hooker, we had Budge, we had plenty of talent out there for our men. Even dates further back than that, so I'm sure a lot of guys and girls would be very inspired by what Mondo's doing at the moment in the pole vault. Maybe a bit intimidated by how high that world record seems to keep on climbing at the hands of the Swiss superstar.
Centimetre by centimetre.
Smart man.
But we've had a great tradition in Australia with the pole vault, and it's, you know, we then reap the rewards when it gets to the international stage as well, as we have seen over the last few years. But that goes back decades now. And also great to see so many young people involved in this sport. But why? We have a really good coaching fraternity within the pole vault community, and they're doing an amazing job with these young pole vaulters.
Absolutely. So the Western Australian kit. Talk about sprint factory of Queensland at the moment. It's the pole vault factory of the WA. Markov before all that, so again, you could really just wind back the history books. Let's say almost, you know, 5 of the top 6 all time in Australia would be out of WA. Here we go. Our walk about to get underway. So our next event on the track is this 5,000 metre race walk. It's contested between the under 17 and under 18 women. And we'll give you a full rundown because there's some even younger than that competing in this field at the moment. So Stella Pinches, Ella Uzun, Olivia Bolton, Katisha Borsic, Mietta Morgan, Chelsea Ireland, Ashley Faruga, Grace Beck, Millie Sharp, Gillian Ryan, Angelina Legrand, and Laura Cornovan Sotomayor are all out here competing. This is a full field of 12, and we can see the blistering start out here for the young Victorian. Now, this is Ella Uzun. Now, Ella Uzun most recently took down the national under 16 record and would be fast enough to compete on that time already at the World Juniors next year, but is just at the age of 15, which means that she is too young to be a competitor at those World Junior Championships. So going to be a phenomenal, phenomenal race.
So Bolton sitting there in second position at the moment. I think Katika Borsic from Western Australia not too far off the back, as Ella does go for it, which she tends to do. I've called her races many times, and there's no holding back with Ella.
So Uzun out there on her own, and I'm sure, Tim, the rest of this field would have been quite aware of what this race tactic would have been and exactly what would have been on her mind here as well, and just is wasting absolutely no time in getting straight after it, and is just one of these talents that we're talking about in these junior ranks at the moment who would be inspired by those a little bit older. We got the Victorian and Jemima Montag. I'm sure that's somebody that she tends to model her racing off, but this opening 400 metres of 1:48 would indicate that she's here to walk quick.
So meet record in the under-17s, which is Alla's age group, is 23.55, which is about the 4.47 per kilometres. 21.40 is the meet record for the under-18s, and that's about 4.20 per k. The Australian record for the under-18s, 21.39, held by Katie Hayward. As we said, 24.00 is the qualification standard for the World Under-20s. So Ella, 500 metres in, she's on about 4.30 something pace, about 4.35 pace at the moment for Ella. Not to say she'll hold that. This is a 5,000 metre event, so we have upped that extra 2 kilometres. It is not an ideal night at all for the endurance events. Ella is used to walking here in relatively harsh conditions. We've called her many times on hot days, hot mornings, hot evenings, but it doesn't stop her. And this is what the beautiful part of Ella's walking. With 11 laps to go, she just doesn't hold back.
Remarkable, 22.42. Her best is just crazy to think about at just the age of 15. So again, just keep a watch for that. Millie Sharp is up next. She leads out this under-18 event. So like we said, this is a mixed event. So we've got our 18s, we've got our 17s here as well. Angelina Legrand, she's certainly one to keep an eye on. Again, one that can get underneath that time at her best. She's a national champion here before. So that's certainly one to watch here. As we see the rest of this field, maybe Julian Ryan in there as well. Another who's come home with national medals in her time, is outside on lifetime best of that 24 flat, but will like the opportunity to try and walk under that here tonight. They've let the race leader go, and they've let it go in a big way. But this pack of 4 now, what they can do is recalibrate. They can get on that time that they're looking for and really battle this out, because Ella Uzun is competing in the under-17 event. This is a big group of under-18s sitting there in that second spot.
So Legrand did take out the title in the under-17s last year, and Millie Sharp, who's also out there representing Queensland, she was first in their all schools in 26.00. She was second to Legrand in that competition. So the top 2 medalists from last year in that comp moving through to the under-18s. We've also got the New South Wales champ, 26.53 for Grace Beck in the under-18s. She's out there. And in the under-17s, Queenslanders, once again, they're all-school champion there in Olivia Bolton, 26.56 for her.
So, Tim, this is a fascinating watch. Look at this first split. This is electric here in the opening stages. This will be just a touch over 4.30. Give it 4.32. So there's no messing about here in this 5,000 metres. I'll leave you to do the quick math. But by my reckoning, that is around that 22-minute odd marker.
Yeah, well, 4.30 is 22.30. So she's sitting around the pace that she has done for on the roads, or slightly ahead of that, I'd say, at the moment.
So Ella Uzun up there. The next group goes through in around 5 minutes, maybe just a fraction under that. So to chase after that World Junior standard, we'll need to see an uptick in pace, because that would be 25-minute walking there. But again, it is a strong group of 4. This is national champions in and amongst this group.
Correct.
At an under-17 age just last year. So I can see that's Legrand on the shoulder there of our Queenslander. And they're going to be the ones, probably with the tap, you can see Millie Sharp and Legrand, and it's understandable why they're going to be the 2 that leads out this group of under-18s there. Again, they're the gold and silver medalist from just last year.
And what we're seeing there is a little bit of a championship racing too, I think, Mitch. They understand that they're not going to go out chasing Ella at this stage, so they're looking for that gold, silver, bronze medals, and they're putting themselves in the best position to get those medals. So Ella comes down to approach 9 laps to go. So she's good on the track, she's also good on the road, and we have seen her at a few cross-country events during the XCR series here in Victoria as well. So a well-rounded athlete is Ella Uzun, and it's part of her long-term development too, I believe, Mitch, is to make her stronger, and there's nothing like a bit of cross-country running to do just that.
Certainly not in that XCR season, at least here in Victoria. You find yourself in some beautiful parts of the state, but also some very muddy and hilly parts of the state, which is exactly how it should be. You talk to any old heads in marathon running and even in that walking fraternity, and they'll tell you how important these winter seasons are to be able to build that base, build that aerobic capacity, and really make the most of when these events get longer. We've just seen this transition now for the first time to that marathon, half marathon formula. We had our first marathon walk championships here in Australia just last week. Riddy and Cowley took the nod there for the men. And we can see Millie Sharp continues to lead out from Legrand, a fellow stateswoman there, Olivia Bolton, just behind. And then that is Sotomayor as well from New South Wales, just tailing off the back of this group. Our Western Australian in Borsich has company with Ryan. But out in front, it's almost just watching out for her on the track here, at least from up in the booth. Ella Uzun continues. The head down, the tempo continues to be pushed. And that gap back to the group would be near on 120 metres at this stage. So it should be said that the pace Uzun's walking is impressive, but that group of three as well also walking together really well at a good tempo.
Just seeing Grace Beck dropping off that group now, so it's really a group of three. And that includes Millie Sharp, as Mitch said. Also up there is Angelina Legrand from South Australia. And Olivia Bolton. So Bolton, I think, is coming second, currently in the under-17 competition. Sharp and Legrand both in the under-18s.
So Olivia Bolton, she's a 26-27 athlete at her best in that under-17 age group. Sitting nicely in that second spot for the group, fourth overall on the track.
Yeah, going on seeds, Olivia definitely the number 2 seed in that under-17 competition. Angelina Legrand, I've got her winning the South Australian Champs in 27:30. Now that's behind Grace Beck, who won her New South Wales Champs in 26:53.
And it's Millie Sharp who leads all of them in that group, which is, again, fracturing so slightly. Olivia Bolton now just off the back of the 2 under-18 athletes there.
Yeah, so good competition here for the under-18s for sure. You see Sharp and also Legrand stride by stride. And as you say, there a few heading out to get their waters as well. Not a bad strategy too mid-stage here. So I think we missed the 2K split there, Mitch. I'll blame you for that. But Alusen coming through to get 7 laps to go. So she's into the second kilometre now. So 2.2K down. So approaching the halfway mark. So we'll get a good idea as she hits the top of the straight up there. That'll be the halfway mark here.
Gives the clearest indication yet of exactly where she's at. It doesn't look like that tempo slowed down really much at all if you were watching it on the eye. Maybe slightly, but what I called a 100-metre lead earlier is now a 200-metre lead. So I would think that these women here haven't really dropped off either. Now we see a bit of a move made from this pack, and it looks like Bolton might even latch herself back on here in a second to Legrand.
Correct. So Millie Sharp has made her move there, the Queenslander. So 26.00 was her winning time in the All Schools. She has got a seed time of 24.39. So Ella just around the back bend as well. Now, given she's done a 22.42, I think, was that on the roads in Ballarat? It was at the Road Champs as part of the cross-country weekend. And we'll just watch as she comes around here and get a split. Probably about right now. So about 11.30. So she's a little bit shy of that time. About 11.30. So it's about a 23-minute time. But remember, 23.55 is the meet record. So Ella at the moment probably well on that target time. It is, conditions in Ballarat were nice and cool. Actually, it was a beautiful weekend up there. It was cool and calm, and Ella had great conditions for that road walk in Ballarat. But now she's coming through to get 6 laps to go. So she's in the second half of the race. See how she surges, Mitch. She's a good one for always taking her own splits. And she'll see something maybe she didn't like so much, and she's decided, I'm going again.
Yeah, has a real touch of the Jemima Montag even about the way that she walks, doesn't she? So you're sort of almost going back in time here and watching this junior race. A little bit more of the forward lean than Jemima, but still has that same uptick in the legs. So she's walking so confidently and so strong. And if she hasn't been modelling parts of her walking off Jemima Montag, well, I think maybe it's worth looking into, because there's a lot of stark similarities between the two. So the young 15-year-old is about 230 odd metres ahead of the rest of this field, as we'll continue to call them as they make their way on through, because it has changed up a little bit there. Legrand's now being passed by the youngster in Olivia Bolton, who's after her fellow Queenslander out there moving along nicely, and Millie Sharp, who again is the 24.39 walker and has been a medalist here at the Nationals a few times, and now with the head down is out there in pursuit of a fast time, which is out past the 25 minutes at the moment, but good form, good technique, continues to move on through. Legrand now behind Bolton, so the 1-2-1-2 has been named here as is back into the home straight, would you believe?
Now, I was watching Ella with great interest down that back straight, because I do believe the headwind really kicked in on that lap, and then Ella just put the head down, got more of that forward lean, as you said, Mitch, and she was just so strong going down the back straight into the headwind. She'd be enjoying a bit of a tailwind, although breeze seems to be blowing around again now, quite swirly, I think. Yeah. Flag's now changing direction once again. So 5 laps out. We're at the 3K mark, and it's 13.46 at the 3K mark.
And it's Grace Beck just ahead of Uzun, and Beck sits in the 3rd position for the under-18 event. And we can see our bronze medalist at the moment for the under-17s. I think it's Katisha Borsic of Western Australia, who will come down to the start-finish line here in a moment. But Uzun's about to get past Beck, who, as I said, is the bronze medalist for the under-18s from New South Wales. And you're right, it's a watch here up this back straight. It does seem to be a bit more laboursome in the swirling winds, but maybe just coming a little bit harder on that back straight. It's, again, Melbourne, Lakeside. You just never quite know the way it's going to be spinning. It's always good to gauge from the flags you can see around the track. When the camera pans out, you have a look at the trees and what they're doing. But Uzun just seems unfazed at the moment, just oozing confidence in her abilities. And why wouldn't she? The way she walked in Ballarat and the way she continues to walk all across the year, the 15-year-old should be nothing but confident in what she can do.
So Stella Pincher's just coming through there. She's also in that under-17 competition. She was 3rd at the New South Wales Champs in 30 minutes and 42 seconds. So coming down now. Next one, probably through the 3K mark here.
Yeah, that'll be Millie Sharp.
So she's just over the 5-minute kilometre mark there at the moment. As we see Ella Uzun coming through, she'll be getting 4 laps to go.
Which is consistent for Millie Sharp, because it went around that 5 minutes for the opening kilometre. So she's maintained that pace, which is really impressive, as we now see, as you said, Bolton goes through, Legrand goes through, here comes Uzun again. Just feels like every time we get in a bit of a preamble about the rest of this field, she's back around here going through the start-finish line.
Well, the good thing for Ella now is that she will have some of those faster walkers in her sights as she goes around that top bend and into the back straight. So first of all, she'll be seeing Angelina Legrand in the under-18 comp, and then it would be her competitor in the under-17s and Olivia Bolton, and in front of her will be Millie Sharp.
So it's just, you're kind of almost scanning the track a little bit to just go, now where exactly, I can see the leader of the other events, but where exactly is the 15-year-old Ella Uzun? And here she is up the back straight. She joins those that she's beating ever so convincingly at the moment up this back straight. Legrand is the next one in sight for her, and this is probably what Ella needs to do if she's not already doing. You just start to look at the people ahead and assume they're in your race. You know, you assume they're ahead of you and really try and work off them and feed off that energy. She's doing a phenomenal job as Legrand Healthy margin there with Olivia Bolton, who is probably pulling a bit of a similar move than what we saw in the men's in terms of just dropping off that pack ever so slightly, waiting to see what the rhythm looked like and then moving her way up, because she's in a really good pursuit there of Millie Sharp as well, who leads out our women's under 18 event. But here we see her again, Ella Uzun, is about to join Legrand.
You can see she's sort of having a look around, so letting the head just wobble a little bit there, Ella. Just seeing what's going on as she starts to get through a bit of traffic now, and she'll be coming down to get 3 laps to go. So we're getting close to entering that the 5th kilometre. As you can see, some hammer results up there on the board or something. And screen back on Ella Uzun as she comes through. 3 to go, 1200 out.
Guess that split one more time, you're right, Tim. She's very prompt on the splits. We see Bolton take a look to her right-hand shoulder, and the silver medalist in this event about to be joined by the gold medalist in this event. Victorian just on the shoulder now of Olivia Bolton. So the only one left in this field now for Ella Uzun is our under-18 leader in Millie Sharp. Bolton's walking really well. Legrand, it looks like, has found a slight uptick in her tempo as well as she gets towards the back stages of this 5,000 metres. But Uzun now after Millie Sharp up this back straight. And maybe even an uptick in Millie Sharp's tempo as well, because that gap is getting bigger. Legrand is working back to Bolton here, although in 2 different age groups. We're talking about the overall standings of this event. Uzun, the under-17 leader, total race leader. And Millie Sharp is in second, your under-18 leader. Then it goes to Bolton in 3rd overall, who's 2nd place in the under-17s. And then Legrand, who's in 4th place overall, but 2nd in the under-18s. So I hope you followed along with that.
So 4:39, the kilometre 3 through to 4 there for Ella Uzun. So really maintaining that really good pace, and I'd say that subject to her being legal all the way through, that 23:55, the meet record, will be going here today to the 15-year-old, walking up an age group. So coming through now to get 2 laps to go for Ella Uzun, and she's just about to go past Millie Sharp, who is leading the under-18 competition. So 2 to go for Uzun, 3 to go there for Sharp. Next one coming through with 3 to go will be Olivia Bolton from Queensland. And then from South Australia, we will have the under-18 competition, Angelina Legrand.
So this is just an absolute masterclass of a performance. It can't be understated just how impressive this is. You're right, walking up an age group. As it is, it would be daunting, you would think, as a 15-year-old to step into the land of under-17s, under-18s and just see really what you're made of. But Ella Uzun will put herself out there, really. She's been on the radar for walkers for a little while now, but what she was able to do on the roads this year really just stamped the authority as, wow, this is somebody that we should be paying a great deal of attention to, and now steps out on the track here, home turf in Albert Park, and has lapped this entire field of under-17 and under-18 athletes, and has done it with class, done it with pace, and really just done it from the first step. And now with just over or under 600 metres to go now, is in total control and is about to walk something very, very impressive.
Yeah, it's going to be another special performance here from Ella Uzun. As she comes around, it'll be 500 metres to go. So 23:55.30 is the existing meet record. Hopefully we'll see that absolutely smashed here today.
Well, if we don't, we'll see Ella next year.
Certainly will.
We get plenty of opportunities to watch it go down. I think it will, looking at the clock here at the moment. But Ella Uzun, it can't be stressed enough just how impressive this is. You're seeing with your very eyes maybe the beginning of one amazing career that lays ahead. If there's anything to indicate of what we're seeing out here this afternoon on a Thursday evening in Melbourne, it's going to be something special. Ella Uzun with the bell at 21:10. The rest of this field will have to wait one more lap to hear it, but the Victorian now in the final stages of what's been an incredible race. So we now see Millie Sharp come through, continues to lead out this under-18 event. We'll have 2 laps remaining. And it's just been so strong. They were walking together for so long in the early stages, and then Millie Sharp had enough She went out there and started to push that tempo, continued to stay on that pace of around that 5-minute K marker. As we see Bolton now, there was a pursuit from Legrand not too long ago, but it looks like the under-17 athlete has done enough to ward that one away and continue to push in that silver medal position.
Down the back straight, approaching 200 metres to go. Ella Uzun representing Victoria. The first gold medal here on the track for the Vics, the home team, as we see Ella Uzun rounding the bend beautifully. That form has hardly changed.
So 150 metres to go for our young star here in Victoria. And we said it was 23.50 odd was that championship record. Well, that one is going to be rewritten right here. The first of these records on the track is about to fall, and it's at the hands of a 15-year-old in an under-17 event. So Ella Uzun has been out there on her own. It's been a race entirely walked all on her lonesome, and now she took that national title earlier in Ballarat on the road. She translates it back to the track and gets another championship record here. Under 23 minutes, she's a star. 22.55 for the Victorian, and gets another opportunity next year, Tim, maybe to go one faster.
Yeah, no, great performance once again from Ella, and she really is she brings the A game to the A meets, and Ella, that was sensational. To be so close to actually her road time from great conditions in Ballarat, to replicate that on a relatively tough night here in Lakeside, we are yet to see the best of this young lady.
Well, that is just such a confident walk, isn't it? I mean, to your point, it just felt like it just stayed so consistent. Now, obviously, you can't just stay on that pace the whole way through, as now we start to see Millie Sharp get the bell. The leader for our under-18 women has got it now. Around 23, what was that? About 23.37, somewhere around that marker with one lap to go. So again, going to be on pace here for a good time, a good solid hit out in the conditions and relatively solo. Got the bell as well whilst I was talking was Olivia Bolton, who's in second in that under-17 event. And we're going to get the bell for our current silver medalist in the under-18 event. That is Angelina Legrand.
So final kilometre there by my calculations, 4 minutes 30. So it was 22.30 pace that Ella was finishing on after four grueling kilometres leading up to that. So great performance once again for Ella.
So everybody now just aching for the bell, waiting to hear it across this 12.5 lap journey. Up the back straight though with 200 metres to go is Millie Sharp. It's been a really consistent walker here, the Queenslander. As I said, maybe felt that pressure early, but if there was any pressure, certainly didn't show it. The cracks never seemed to form and was just ultra consistent. And again, one of the great compliments I think you could receive in any distance event really is consistency. Don't get too high, don't get too low, don't let it get the best of you. She's certainly done well at that. With 150 metres to go to get that national title, it is Millie Sharp of Queensland. Out over 25 minutes now, so it'll be under 26. But it doesn't matter about the time at the end of the day when you're holding a gold medal in your right hand or around your neck, and she deserves it here for the walk she's put in.
So Grace Beck now getting the bell. So she will, on the track at the moment, be the third place getter in the under-18 competition. As we see, under-18 winner at this stage on the board will be Millie Sharp from Queensland, taking out the under-18 competition. It's going to be well under that 26-minute mark. So Millie across the line. And second, provisionally, Olivia Bolton, also from Queensland, also under the 26-minute mark. And two great performances there from our Queenslanders.
Yeah, and for Olivia, 26-27 on paper we've got ahead of us here. So first time under 26, and was a long way under 26. It didn't just creep it in there. Comes away with a silver medal as well, and a lifetime best. You can't do much more than that, as we now see Legrand come through to get second here in the under-18 event. The South Australian finishes things off here. The bell for our following two. That'll be Katisha Borsic that gets the bell there, the Western Australian.
And that'll get her into third position in the under-17 competition. So Katika Borsic from Western Australia, currently third position. Her best time, 28.00. I don't think she'll quite get that today. Well, it could be maybe on. She has a big final lap. But Borsic currently sitting in the bronze medal position for the under-17 competition.
Just a great evening of walking, really, we've seen out in front of us here thus far. You can see our youngster, Ella Uzun, probably should get very familiar with having to do interviews, I would think. The rate that she is walking.
So Lockie Morehouse from Australian Athletics doing his job there. So does great work for Australian Athletics in feeding those stories out to the likes of Mitch Dyer, who then feed it out to the world. So Beck coming through now. She will be taking third place provisionally in the under-18 competition. So Grace Beck, New South Wales, potentially onto the podium there.
So well done to Grace Beck, who again was a part of that early pack, wasn't she? So she was in that group of 4 for a stretch of time there. 27:47 in the end.
Just observing through the crowd, how good are the Northern Territory uniforms? I can see Leanne Chin down there at the moment, but how good those Territorians look in their uniforms. Amazing to have them back here in Melbourne.
I would pay a lot of money for that bucket hat. I will tell you that much for free. That is one of the greatest design kits I've ever seen.
It's awesome.
We have the Oceania Championships up there this year coming, up in Darwin, so beautiful to see it up there in the NT. Athletics going strong is now. We do see Borsic come down here in the final 50 metres. This should be our bronze medalist, we believe, for the under-17 event.
Gillian Ryan just finishing ahead of her, but she was in the under-18s and taking that 4th position. But Katika Borsic, Western Australia, 28.00 her best, but on a rough night here in Melbourne, 28.39 unofficial there for her finish in the 5,000 metres.
Well done, gets a bronze medal to bring back home West. Fantastic work. You can see Faruja of New South Wales coming down here, rocket on the bell. One of the great bell men. Been a big stalwart of athletics for a while. Go back and watch the Sydney Olympics, you'll see rocket everywhere.
Looks like Stella Pinches might be our next finisher here. Young lady from New South Wales. So good performance here for Stella, I think, if she's coming through. Certainly a bit quicker than her performance at the All Schools in New South Wales, where it was 30.42, but she does have a lifetime best, I think, about 27.16.
This group continues to.
So Mieta Morgan will be the next one. I think Mieta will be hearing the sound of the bell. So Mieta Morgan, Victoria, 1 lap to go. And Chelsea Island from Western Australia finishing her 5,000 metres just under the 30-minute mark. So breeze still just blowing in all sorts of directions, but predominantly down that back straight, I would say, Mitch. Still a bit of a tailwind in the home straight, headwind in the back straight. And that could be, well, the good thing for the 3,000 metre runners is that they're going to have more tailwind than headwind.
So we see the sun now really start to rear its head here in Melbourne as our field continues to push on in this 5,000 metre journey.
So Laura Kovalan Sotomayor, she's on her final lap, representing New South Wales in the under-18s. So it's a PB there for Chelsea Island, so not a bad performance. A couple of PBs actually coming up there. Olivia Bolton in the under-17s, PBing. That's a very good performance this afternoon from Olivia. There's Ashley Ferrugia, New South Wales, completes her 5,000 metres in the under-17s. Don't forget, all the action is coming up on race roster. So you can follow the live results both on the track and out in the field importantly, and Mitch will try and give us some updates, some of our field events shortly.
Absolutely. We're going to give a special shout out to the winner of our women's under-18 hammer. We'll get to that in a second. So we'll continue to support our final competitors here in this race walk. Yetta Morgan in the under-17 event. Laura Corvalin Sotomayor as well in this under-18 event. See some of our 3,000 metre women making their way up the back straight as well. Hammer throw still going strong. Our pole vaulters out there too. So plenty of action on deck here at Lakeside. You can see Sotomayor. Good push down the home straight here off the back of Yetta Morgan. Victorian finishes off her evening, as does our New South Wales competitor. So well done for our women's 5,000 metre race walk. Great evening all round for the group. Now, we're talking about field event results. We can see our men's para under 17 long jump final start lists are up here on the stadium. But for all of you playing along at home, Tasmania's Ariel Cannell has gone undefeated in her junior career. She's a two-time championship record holder, and she takes it out here as well. 61.97 in that under-18 women's event. Has not lost all the way through her junior career. The young Tasmanian speaks about the importance of that Brisbane home games in X amount of years' time. I'll tell you what, if you can be undefeated as a junior at the All Schools, you put yourself in a good position. We were talking about Alex Hulley and the importance of her in women's hammer throwing. Well, that's a name to remember for you all. Ariel Cannell, well done to you, Ariel. That's a great night out here in Melbourne.
So we will await the judges' decisions on our walks competition, get the all clear there. But next up, we will be doing the combined under 15 and under 16 women's 3,000 metre final. We'll once again announce the field once they are underway, but they are on the start line, ready to go. The combined under 15, under 16 women's 3,000 metres. So underway now, the combined under 15, under 16 3,000 metres. We have Sophie Hall from Victoria Station 1, Amelia Sheridan, South Australia in 2, Alexis Tague from New South Wales in 3, Allegra Clark, North Queensland in Station 4, Addison Hart from the ACT in Station 5. From Station 6 we have from Queensland, Gemma de Villiers, Tilly Williams, South Australia in 7, Charlotte Snelling from Queensland in 8, Amelia Mandalinic from New South Wales in 9, Chloe Baldock, Victoria 10, Piper Anderson, Queensland in 11, Liza Lawton, New South Wales, Station 12 in 13, Asha Morrow from Victoria, Zara Beveridge from Queensland in 14, Millie Groom from North Queensland 15, and Annabelle Valla, New South Wales in 16, and Elizabeth Craig from Victoria rounding out the field in 17. Combined age groups makes our job a little bit harder here, Mitch, but what do you see out front?
Well, I see a very familiar sight, and that's Amelia Sheridan, the South Australian, who leads things out here. Now, for those that had the privilege of watching on the Nationals in Perth earlier this year, this is a very familiar racing style for the junior. Just got out there and said, come and get me. And look, not any of them could. She was that impressive. So again, we step out here in Melbourne, and the tactics haven't changed at 71 seconds through the opening 400 metres. So
Sub
it
9
is
minute
blistering
pace,
is it not, Tim? So
yeah, and taking the field with it too, which is interesting here, Mitch. They've all gone drawn into that pace from Amelia. Now we know that she's got cred. She's a 9.26 3K flat runner. Also the under 15 cross country champ from Ballarat. So Sheridan does know how to race, but this is a quality field. You've also got her team teammate from South Australia, Tilly Williams, who was third in this similar event last year in the under 14s. Others to look out for here, obviously you've got Sophie Hall. She's got a 9.22 to her name. So Sophie, let's see where she is in the field at the moment. So yeah, relatively just on the outside, just watching what's happening in front as you see the field just pushing forward and going up towards Sheridan.
Well, the other one to watch, Eliza Lawton, who sits there in that second spot, leads out the under-16. She was the 15-3 champion last year in that under-15 event. So just watch out for her. She's certainly a strong racer. And like you said, sort of surrounded there by that younger age group, the under-15s, though right on her tail, right behind her there, is Piper Anderson, another to keep a close eye on.
Yeah, Piper Anderson, Ballarat, she was the under-16 cross-country champ. You've also got another one, interesting one here, Annabelle Valla from New South Wales. She actually beat Eliza Lawton in the New South Wales All-Schools Champs. She's a 9.31 runner. Doesn't quite have the PBs of a Lawton, but Valla is one to be respected in that under-16 competition. But it is still Sheridan leading the way. So it is the South Australian in the under-15 comp.
So it should be said, Piper Anderson as well. She was third at those World Junior cross-country trials just last week. The other to keep a close eye on as well, Eliza Lawton, she was sixth. So here we go. The opening kilometre is 3:05.19. So that's 9:15 pace here at the moment. That's breakneck speed in the opening 1 kilometre. So it's going to be catch me if you can again here, I think, for the young South Australian. Trying to do her best to hold on here is Lawton. But this group now is strung out, isn't it? It's just a train of athletes just trying to get after the pace.
So Lawton's just trying to edge that gap a little bit, but she's got Williams on her shoulder and in a really good position. The next one, is that Piper Anderson, next spot there in fourth? Yeah, Piper Anderson running fourth, and we know that she has got a big kick. So Anderson's yet again another one to watch out for. So it's the under-15 leading the way. Leading the under-16 competition at the moment is Eliza Lawton. Tilly Williams also in the under-15s. And then Piper Anderson, the next of the under-16s. No change out front, though. And it is still Sheridan from South Australia, maybe getting a little bit more of a gap there, but Lawton surges forward. Williams in great position. Then it's Anderson. Then it's Sophie Hall, the first of the Victorians.
Yeah, Tilly Williams, Tim, you called it early. She's just in a really great spot there in that third position. To your point, just sort of gets to follow along the pace there as well, but also is relatively guarded from the wind from Eliza Lawton just on her inside. So this group, it looked like it was about to be strung out like an accordion, and now we're on our way back in playing the note. So it's a beautiful symphony here in this women's under 16-15 3,000 metre event, but there's never going to be a dispute about what Amelia Sheridan's intention is or the way that she's going to execute it. It is breakneck from the beginning, and let's just see who can survive. But it's got a big group of survivors behind here at the moment. They'll all be a little bit familiar with what they're up against here, but every time you think that someone's just starting to press and maybe starting to make a case, Amelia Sheridan is very, very quick to respond here at the moment. So Eliza Lawton is doing her best to fend off what may look like a South Australian 1-2 punch here at the moment in at least that under-15 event, and that's Tilly Williams, who sits just behind there. Back to Sophie Hall, the Victorian, who's just trailing off this group, but this group of four working really, really well together. And that is also Piper Anderson of Queensland, who's just in the middle of it all.
So Annabelle Valla's got a bit of a question to ask herself here. She needs to just move forward to try and get on the back of Hall. As I said, she did beat Lawton at the New South Wales All Schools, but she's now probably 25 metres back off Eliza Lawton at this stage as to go 3 laps to go. So approaching the 2 kilometre mark, which will be an interesting split. I think they've slowed down slightly in the second kilometre. They was very, very willing early on. But Sheridan's still leading and doing a great job. And I think the gaps are starting to form here between the third and then 4 and 5.
Yeah, the cracks are starting to show, but I will say in that leading group of 3, it really is an interesting battle of cat and mouse here at the moment, because every time it feels like Amelia Sheridan starting to press, Eliza Lawton, it just slowly creeps up, so can feel that rhythm, can feel that there's a tempo starting to be shifted, and there's always this invisible elastic band you talk about in distance running. You do not want to let that snap. It's too hard hard to get that mental tether back. But Eliza Lawton now is just applying all of the pressure here. So has bided her time behind now, shows her cards a little bit and says, all right, now it's the business end of things. Let's start racing.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of strength here for Lawton. That was the key thing. She was so strong with that, going through that 2 kilometre mark. You could just sense she wanted it. Sheridan hasn't dropped though. Bit of a gap then to Williams. Then we're seeing Hall just working off the back of Anderson, then a gap to Valor. But 2 laps out. Lawton leads by about 2 metres to Sheridan.
So you can see here Eliza Lawton, the leader of the under-16 event, and then Sheridan, perfectly said there, Tim, as well, leads her event but lit second overall. She's got Tilly Williams behind her there in that under-15 event, and then we got Piper Anderson and also Sophie Hall there continues to push too. So it's been a real war of attrition here at the moment. It's been conserving energy to the best of your ability because these two out in front are about to go again. This is a battle that's long from over, I would like to think, because Eliza Lawton continues to lead and push and maybe just start to ask that question of Amelia Sheridan behind her here, but the South Australian is strong, biding time. Now this is it. This is the crunch. This is the peak of distance running here at the moment with less than 600 metres to go. The race is about to be wound up. She showed the cards, Eliza Lawton. Let's see if the deck falls her way.
I think the respective winners of their events are coming into the home straight now. I can't see anyone chasing out. If anything, maybe it is Sophie Hall. I think starting to show a little bit of strength round in that and chasing pack. But Sheridan's still chasing. Lawton maybe just slowing a tad here as she approaches that 400 metres to go. Sheridan's back by 10 metres. Hall now looks like she wants to get alongside Simpson. And they've got Williams, who's worked so hard for the journey, just sitting off the back.
So they're going to get in that 9:20 range as well, which these two are more than capable of being able to run. It's a real battle behind here too. There's 2 that are going to go after it here. It looks like it'll be Piper Anderson, and also it will be the youngster from Victoria and Sophie Hall. But out the back straight here at the moment, again, leading their respective age groups here, but it's still a battle of who can get to the line first. Eliza Lawton doing a good job to continue to refuse the advances behind her there from Amelia Sheridan. Now starts to get a healthy margin with 200 metres to go. Just lets loose and away she is.
So Hall now moving into third, and that's second. But then again, you've got Anderson saying, no, you don't. And she just surges forward 200 out. But coming around the final bend here, and it is Eliza Lawton. I didn't think she was in this good a shape coming off that in New South Wales All Schools. She's proved me wrong. She looks fantastic. She's been so strong. Sheridan so good early. She's going to bring it home to take her title in the under-15 event. But it will be our under-16 here. Eliza Lawton from New South Wales to take the win. An impressive time. It'll be in the 9:20s here for Lawton. She's back. What a great race. Eliza Lawton takes it in a very strategic race. Sheridan so strong, and she'll come through probably just under the 9:30 mark. Simpson's also a good race from Queensland. She'll take second in her age group. Hall will take second in hers. Williams third in the under 15 competition, and then we had Valor coming through. I think she takes third place and the bronze medal in the under-16s. Mitch, what a great race.
What a great race indeed. It just felt like there were a lot of advances or moments where you thought, geez, maybe Sheridan might actually get back on top here, but every time it looked like the tables were about to be turned, they stood still and nothing could be done to stop the pursuit there of Eliza Lawton. So gets the overall win, gets the national title. As you said there, it's still another national title there for Amelia Sheridan, who as well should be credited, set that tempo. It was blinding at the start. It was looking like it was going to be a 9:15 type of race, but just starts to drop back there a little bit. Only natural in the 3,000 metres, and they both crowned themselves national champions. It was a good night for numbers. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3 came through in that order, made our night easy. Good pursuit there from Piper as well. Also, Sophie just started a battle down that final 200, although different age groups, it doesn't matter when it's this. It's the spirit of racing at these joint age groups, and we see a fantastic race at that.
Yeah, it's a very mature racing too. I think that was one of the big takeaways from that event. Sophie Hall, how good was that? Very mature, just sat back early, didn't try and be part of the lead group, and then when she challenged Piper, Piper just said, no, I want this next position, and took it.
So we got treated to a real show there. Piper Anderson, I said, it was third at that World Junior Cross Trials just last week. Would you believe Eliza Lawton was sixth? So it was right on the edge of qualification. Well, the team gets announced tomorrow, but It's an under 20 event, by the way. We're
So
talking about an under 15,
meet record
16.
there for Eliza Horton, by the way. So 9:26.32 was the previous mark. 9:25.84 there for Eliza Lawton in the under 16 competition. And 9:28.71 there for Sheridan. And that's just missing the mark. 9:27.55 was the meet record. So just a near miss there from Amelia. So
And we continue with the long jump action on the back straight. This time with the Para Under 15 Girls Long Jump Championship of Australia.
So PB also Piper Anderson. That's impressive, Mitch, after coming off the World Cross-Country Trials. So 9:33.03 Piper Anderson taking third on the track. Sophie Hall 9:34.36 and 9:38.21 Tilly Williams. Great run by Tilly.
Absolutely. It was a great run all round, wasn't it? I mean, those girls have been racing each other for a fair while now. It feels like nobody's really dropped off from coming through those really junior ranks now to what is still a very junior rank in under 15s and 16s. But familiar racing styles never makes it any easier to try and follow along with it. So crew's done very well. They can see that Powell family down there all around. Would have been very happy with Soph. See Hawthorn Livewire Dylan Moore down there supporting as well. So any Hawks fans who are in the stadium want to see Dylan Moore. He's down at the start-finish line. And here's hoping they stay around for what's going to be another cracking 3,000 metre event. This time we turn our attention to the boys under 15, under 16 double. Big field. We got 20 total on paper. And we'll do what we've been doing consistently. We'll call them out when they make their way through. So we're away. We continue with this 3,000 metre racing here this evening. We'll call them all out. Sidorides on hit 1. Lorenzo Panoesa is in 2. Philip Patonis in 3. Tyson White in 4. Connor Matthewson in 5. Benjamin Scheinert in 6. It's Matthew McNally in 7. Joshua Mauer in 8. Oscar Woodhouse in 9. Riley Stanworth's in 10. Charlie Ellis is in hip number 11. This is the first of our under 16 competitors. Will Astridge in 12. Tyler Finch in 13. Ty Wynn in 14. Jaho Chan in 15. Axel Pratton in 16. James Shuck in 17. Zach Heffernan is in 18. Axel Comer's in 19. And Edwin Alder is in hip number 20 here this afternoon. It looks like a very familiar running style to those in Victoria out in front. That is Archie Sidorides. Sidorides brothers, always names to watch out for, not only in the state level, but at the national level as well. We saw Archie, he was very impressive in Perth earlier this year. I believe he took 2 golds, a silver at the end in what was an awesome 1,500 metre race at that. Zach Heffernan, the Queenslander, now just gets up on that shoulder of Sidorides. So Patonis I can see sliding back there slightly from New South Wales. This group, look Tim, there's arms out, there's shoulders out, there's feet out. Everybody's trying to find a spot. It's very choppy, it's messy in the middle of this race because they're out 3 wide.
And that's why Heffernan's gone to the lead. He doesn't want to get caught up with that. He is the top seed. He's an 8:38 runner. So he's won the All Schools up there in Queensland in 8:41. He's in form. So Heffernan probably the class runner in this field. The Victorian's in next, so you can see Sidorides just sitting on the rails at the moment, and to the outside of him is, who's that, the other Victorian, Oscar Woodhouse, I think that is. So Woodhouse was probably a surprise winner up in Ballarat in the National Cross Country, taking out that championship.
What's the beauty of cross country, right? Because it's any man or any woman on any day can really take it out. There's so many different extenuating elements that you need to be cautious of. So clearly, get a little bit of confidence from that. Anytime you become a national champion, you probably walk in with a little level of swagger that you didn't have before you rolled into the national championships before that. So he sits there in third. Opening 800 metres is quick. And it was a good point. This Queenslander, he wants to just stay out of it. He wanted to stay as far away there, did Zach Heffernan, from the carnage, because just because you're the fastest in the field doesn't mean the race is really going to just fall your way. And that is Heffernan who leads it out from Sidorides, and then Tyler Finch, the Victorian.
Yeah, my apologies, I got that one wrong. But Tyler Finch now sitting in third position there. Tyler also had a good run up in Ballarat. He came third in that event. Probably would have loved to win it, but Tyler's now bearing down on Sidorides as we see Heffernan. He is the class athlete to me in this field, and Heffernan now is just starting to make his moves to really clear out on the chases. Sidorides being the next one, then it's Finch, and then we have a clutch of the New South Wales runners across the age groups.
It looks like Philip Batonis was one who had a real sense of urgency when he started to get to that line. He could probably see this group really moving away and took a moment and said, where do I want to be when we get to 2K? They've managed to reattach here now to Sidorides and also Finch, but out here in front, I mean, Tim, you've called it from the gun. You said this is the class athlete. This is the man we need to be watching, and he's given you every reason to keep your eyeballs fixated on him as it stands, because this Victorian in Heffernan is just watching the watch. Queenslander, sorry. We'll take him. I'll take him in Victoria, please. The Queenslander in Heffernan is just moving along here and just really tested this field early, and there's been nobody able to pass it at the moment.
Really impressed by Batonis' move there, because the Victorians could have just cleared away, but Batonis, he had the nous to say, no, I'm going to reattach here, and he needed to. So it's Finch in second position, and then Sidorides. Now we have Batonis starting to come through. And was that hip number 20?
Yeah,
so
Edwin Elder.
Okay, Edwin Elder into the next position. So he was second in the under-16s at the New South Wales champ, so Elder should be up there. So Batonis, 9.20 for him in the New South Wales champs. We did take the win. He has got an 8.49 to his name though, so Batonis definitely one to be respected, and he was second in the national cross country as well. But gee, look at Heffernan at the moment. He's just clearing out. He's out by about 60 to 70 metres, and this is quite a very impressive performance from Zach. So the meet record, 8:39.49. Is he on for it?
Absolutely he is at the moment. It feels like it at least. I mean, when you're watching him to the eye, I'm a big eye test believer, and also like to draw comparisons to those athletes who are excelling so much here at the moment. And he just gives me real Kai Robinson vibes, this young man, in the way that he carries his arm. He's got the Queensland Maroon spirit through and through. So he's just out here and moving, and 70 metres is now nearly 100. So it just goes to show this tempo that's been set, maintained. 3K, you're through 5 minutes. You don't have much left. This is a time to lock in, lock on, and see what you can do. And to your point, Philip Batonis, didn't he read it perfectly? He just said, whoa, I don't want to get too far away here. I know that Archie Sidorides has a really good kick. These two have done battle on a national scale plenty of times. This is a young rivalry that's been brewing for a bit. Batonis really got out there in Perth. I think he took over Archie Sidorides towards the back end of that 1500. Neither of them came away with the gold, but they have been battling for a while. So Philip Batonis knows where he needs to sit in that under 15 event, and it is smack bang on the back of Archie Sidorides. But out here in front, slowing slightly, only because he's out there on his own, the Queenslander. But Zach Heffernan, he put it out there, and he's going to reap the rewards, I would think.
So they're into the final kilometre here. 8.51's the meet record for the under 15. So that's Sidorides and also Batonis. But Heffernan coming down now. I think moving into third position in the under 16 comp there is Jahal Chan, the Victorian. There's Tyler Finch currently sitting in second position behind Heffernan in that age category. Now Batonis alongside Sidorides. This is important as they come down 2 laps to go. A few moves coming from behind too, Mitch. This ain't over. There's a few big things happening as you see Batonis now moving past Finch. Sidorides going with him because he knows he's in the same age category.
So he needs to stay with him. It's a good point there, Tim. We see the two Victorians now are doing a really good job to battle things out. That's Jahal Chan, who now just sort of left that group behind and really just went on a whim, and it might just pay off for him here, because if you can apply enough pressure and you can present that you're moving through really strongly, it can be enough to worry that group ahead of you. Out in front, all on his lonesome, on an island out here at the moment, is the Queenslander in Zach Heffernan, and he's been out there for a long time, but it's almost hard to take your eyes off this group on that back straight, because in and amongst a big pack of them, anything can happen over the closing stages here. But we're about to stand up, we're about to ring the bell, and here he is, the Queenslander, and Zach Heffernan is about to go and get after a very quick time here in Melbourne.
Now, if he really delivers here, his 62 last lap will deliver him a national record. 8:25.31, Josh Torley. So I don't know if he's quite got the 62, but let's find out. But gee, it's Willing in the next position for that under 15s. Sideritis and Batonis going head-to-head. Finch in next position. Woodhouse has now moved into third place in the under 15s, approaching Tyler Finch.
So up the back straight here, Tim. I reckon you've put a little rocket underneath him here, Zach Heffernan. He wants to go and get after Josh Torley's time. It was a time that probably we thought people wouldn't be able to touch for a period here. But Heffernan now at 7:58 gives himself every single opportunity to go and get after it. So 8:25.31 is what we're after. He's got the meet record. That is long gone. We don't need to consider that any longer. But he rounds in here, Zach Heffernan. And wouldn't the support of the crowd go a long way for the Queenslander? So we're looking for it. He's not going to quite get it. He'll fall just outside a national record. But he's going to claim the national title here. It's an all-schools record. It's just outside the fastest we've ever seen. And that is under 8:30.67.67. Number one for the young man here. As the pursuit for under 15 gold now kicks down the straight.
So Batonis is just edging out there. I think that's Woodhouse, I think, coming home strongly. And Batonis has taken the under 15s. And Oscar Woodhouse, he comes through in the just to get silver there. Finch will take, I think, silver in the under 16s. And then I'd say it would be the other Victorian there in Jai Hao Chan, I think.
So, and looking further back here, the Queenslander and Ben Scheinard might have... Geez, there's a dip on the line there to Sideritis. That's an interesting watch to see whether that's third place or not. Philip Batonis, though, kept pushing on the inside and got the gold. And, geez, he probably thought it was Archie rolling around his shoulder. Lo and behold, Oscar Woodhouse came storming home. That'd be the first time under 9 minutes. And we'll watch the live results, Tim, because possibly...
Well, at the moment, they've given Batonis also a meet record at 8:48.25.
Yes.
So 2 meet records, Heffernan and Batonis. It's not an ideal night for 3K racing, Mitch. This is amazing performances from this very talented age group in the 15s and 16s. And Woodhouse, a PB for Oscar coming through to take just miss... So 8:45.25 to 8:45.33. Tyler Finch has come through for second in the 16s. Jai Hao Chan was third with a PB of 8:58. And I think Sideritis is just out-dipped by 3 100ths. Benjamin Shinard for third place. So Sideritis, 9:03.42, 9:03.45 there for Shinard. Good call, Mitch.
Well, I saw that storming down and Ben is just flying and I thought, wait a minute, this has got to be the bronze medal, but 0.03 of a second is what separates you in the end. So you'll be happy that he dipped there, Archie Sideritis. He looked like he was proppy off the track, so unsure whether he's hurt himself there or not. Fingers crossed he hasn't, but...
barnstorming performance from Heffernan. This guy is quality. If anyone's going to take Torley's record, and hopefully we'll have Zach here for Zatopek for 3000s, because that would be a great opportunity for Zach Heffernan to really have a dip at that Australian record. The action continues. It's been hot. Let's put it that way. The Melbourne summer is well and truly turning hot here at Lakeside Stadium, and the action, both in the field and on the track, is starting to really spark up.
Certainly has. Just gets you a bit excited, doesn't it? You just feel a little something on a Thursday night. You go, track is back. It's just back, isn't it? I mean, it's already been back. I mean, how many World Junior qualifiers have we already had? And it's the start of December here in this country. It's not all about teams and it's not all about all of that stuff, but it is important to note just how fast and how far everybody's throwing, jumping and running here at the moment. It's insane, these juniors. I talked about it at the start of this stream. Iron sharpens iron. A rising tide lifts all boats. Everybody seems to be on board, having a good time here at the moment.
Including Mitch Dyer.
Including Mitch Dyer. Never not having a good time at the track, Tim.
All right, next up we will be having the track events will be the under 17, under 18, 5,000 metre race walk, and we'll introduce the field once again when they are on the way. So underway now in the combined under 17, under 18 5,000 metre race walk. We have 8 starters. In station 1, Liam Frund from South Australia. From Victoria, Max Davidson in 2. Ali Znad from Western Australia in station 3. Christopher Nyland from New South Wales in 4. Alexander Sinnott from New South Wales in 5. Representing Queensland, we have Kai Dale in 6. Sebastian Richards from South Australia in 7. And in lane 8, or station 8, and chasing the World Junior qualifier from Tasmania, we welcome Samuel Lindsay. And he's off, Mitch, like a rocket.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's a very, very good competitor here. He's the Tasmanian. And to your point, that World Junior time is... well, it's well and truly under threat. I mean, he's a class competitor. He'll have to do it out here on his own. We've already seen Ronan qualify, too old for this event. Obviously young enough for the World Juniors. But if he is going to get it here on the track here this evening, it is going to be quite possibly solo. The South Australian would probably like to go and get after a quick time. You would think here, though, mixed age groups, under 17, 18, as we said. But Sammy Lindsay... already setting that tempo. He'll know. He'll have the splits on his watch. He'll know exactly where he needs to be in those new Tasmanian kits, which I'm loving, by the way. But Sam Lindsay out in front.
So 20:50 is the time he's chasing. 20 minutes and 50 seconds. 2011 is the meet record, so that's about a 4:02 average. So once they come around at that 1K mark, we'll have a very good indicator on how Samuel Lindsay is tracking along. The Australian record, 19:23.96. That's pretty sharp.
It's a fascinating read when you look across the under-18 records here at all schools, and you talk about pedigree and importance of juniors. Gout, Terrell Thorne, Geordie Williams, Sasha Zoya, Declan Tingay, Andrew Murphy, Damien Birkenhead, Matt Denny, to name a few. That's
quite a few Australian record holders in that under-18 list, which is awesome. And can Sam Lindsay sort of add his name to that very, very impressive list as we see him come through. 11 laps to go.
It'll be interesting to see if he can get Dec Tingay's time. Sure, Declan would be happy but sad to lose it. I feel like anybody who's got a record would feel happy or sad to lose it. You know, happy somebody's doing so well, but sad your name won't be read out every year as they make their way on through. But for Sam, I think his most important thing that can happen for him here is a big queue to Eugene next year. That he would love. Here, the young Tasmanian. So we're going to get to 800. Tim, to your point, the 1K marker always presents us a good opportunity to know exactly what we're hunting for. But 20:50 is the time at question. It was at about a 3:07 through the opening 800 metres. So he's moving well.
Yeah, Sebastian Richards, South Australia, also going along nicely. We're getting carried away with the Sam Lindsay train at the moment, but the South Australian, he won the state title over there in 22:40, or the All Schools. He's got a 21:46 seed time here, a season's best, and 22:39. So he's another one, and you can see he's just not letting go here. So in a good position in the early stages as we approach the 1 kilometre mark.
So it's interesting, isn't it? You kind of feel off the person in front of you that is a little bit faster, but also you don't have to push so hard that maybe you're right on the heels. You know, you want to give yourself every opportunity to go and get after a fast time. So he's doing a great job there, Seb Richards. Here we go, 3:56.48. 3:56.48 through the opening K. This will be around 4:03, I would think, for the South Australian as he rolls his way on through. Has a quick check of the watch as well. So they're quick.
They're quick, yeah. They're on record pace, for sure. Meet record pace. And probably not quite Australian record pace there for Lindsay, but as we said, it's not an ideal night or ideal conditions here for 5K on the track, but he is putting it out there. As we saw with Alaouzan, these guys are brave. They're not going to hold back. They know what they want. They're very aggressive, and aggression can pay off at times.
So Sam Lindsay, really like that call. Tim, I'm really liking the work rate of Seb Richards. The Victorian sits back there as well on the back straight with some company behind him.
So that's Max Davidson. So he'll be leading the under-17 category with both Lindsay and Richards in the under-18. So Davidson, yet again, one to be watching here. 22.53 to take the All Schools in Victoria, and that's about his best time, I believe. So Max moving quite nicely. It looks like another South Australian just off the back of him. That could be Freund, but we will confirm that on the next track around the track here. As the gap between Lindsay and Richards has not changed.
No, it's been super consistent, hasn't it? And it's an interesting watch. Like we said, they're under that record pace. 2050 is the World Junior time. They're both currently sitting underneath that as well. So you would think that both just clearly found a rhythm that they're very comfortable with. And this is the point. You don't need to press. You don't need to be too out of control. If you are Seb Richards, you just need to walk within your comfort zone and also be able to push on behind our race leader. It is Max Davidson, Liam Front behind him there. This is our under-17 event. And Max also, it's a 22.52 guy. He's certainly walking under that here at the moment. Even quicker, 23.39 was Liam, and he is not too far behind Max. So, again, tempo continues to push across both age groups to just find a little something here in the walk. Beecroft is the national record holder for the under-17s here, at least All Schools. Can you believe 1931? I was there for that. It was unbelievable.
So it looks like we have had a bit of a drop in the temperature too. So currently our friends at the bottom are saying it feels like a 17.2 here in Albert Park. So that's obviously a bit more conducive, and we might see some, that's going to help these walkers for sure. So we're moving away from the 30-degree temps down to 17 or thereabouts, but the breeze still, up around the 30-kilometre-an-hour mark.
So a smooth walker is Sam Lindsay. Big long strides, safe strides at that. And I'll tell you, Seb Richards, he's walking the race of his life here at the moment.
Yeah, well, we've seen that in some of the earlier walks as well. Some of the those with not quite the same profile, just dipping in early and having a go at it and being rewarded then with medals and PBs. And that's what we're seeing here, I think, from Sebastian Richards. So it is quite an impressive performance. Also, Max Davidson, our leader in the under-17s.
This is a great walk here at the moment.
Yep. Yeah, so low in numbers, but we are seeing quality out there. And Liam Freund also in the under-17s coming through. 24.35 was his win in the All Schools in South Australia, but he does have a 23.39 to his name. So not quite at the level of Max, and we're sort of seeing that in the differential here, about 80 metres early on. And we must be approaching the 2-kilometre mark right now, I would say.
Yes.
So 8:01. So still just dropped the pace from 3:54.
But they're still on that
3:56.
20-minute walking here at the moment. 8:00.
So it's about a 4:05 for that second kilometre. So Richards also through.
He went through about 8:10 there.
8:10,
yeah.
Yep. So they're both moving nicely at the moment. So good to get, it'll be nice to get that halfway mark. So in another lap, they're going to go into the second half of the race. And I think both of those walkers will be looking forward to that. So Sam leading the way. Maybe the gap's going out a little bit now, Mitch. I think we're up to about 35 to 40 metres. So it is starting to drift, but gee, I'm not saying that Sebastian's going back again, but he is, I think Sam's just stretching it out a little bit.
Yeah, I think he might have picked up tempo from that 4 to 4:05. Maybe he just wants to get back down to that 4-minute sort of walking. And you can see that it really probably is unfazing to Seb Richards at the moment, given how fast he is going. So he's got that tempo in mind. And again, it's a sort of yo-yo type of race where it gets away, comes back, gets away, comes back. You've just got to not go too high, not go too low. Walking a really impressive race here as well is Max Davidson.
Yep.
Although different age group, he's leading out the under-17s here at the moment from front, but just is not slowing down here at all. Hasn't missed a beat, really. 100 metres now back from the second of our competitors there in Seb Richards, who's second in that under-18 event. But it's a good point. Samuel Lindsay is just continuing to press that tempo, get back on that 4-minute K walking, and go in that low 20-minute mark would be something really impressive for the Tasmanian. And he's giving it every opportunity to do just that. 20:32 is his best, so he's under that if he's even continuing to walk where he is at the moment. But if he can find a little something here, this will be a very, very quick evening for him.
So we're just watching for the halfway point, which we're at the top of the bend. It's a pretty hard one to spot because it is actually on the bend, the 100 metres. It's about right now. So 10:04 for Lindsay going through. So he's on about 20:08. So we're still looking very good for that junior qualifier. And then 10:14 then. So 10 seconds adrift there for Richards. So Sebastian also in line here for a qualifier if he can just hold this second half together.
So plenty to walk for here in the back stages of this 5,000 metres. Always is at a national championships, but anytime you're floating around a qualifier, it just really starts to add a little bit of extra flavour to it. So the two out in front continue to walk on incredibly well, and our leader in the under-17 event hasn't missed a beat in Max Davidson, the Victorian. So
he's on target for a massive PB, about 21:30 pace at halfway. So Max, just keep it going. Get the crowd behind these guys because they're putting in enormous strides here, going for massive PBs and qualification. And even though there's gaps in the race, this race is fascinating.
Well, clearly the night's turned perfect. If the bomb's right and it's rolling around that 17-degree marker, that is near on perfect of what you would want for a 5,000 metre trip, maybe even a little bit cooler. But from what it was earlier today to what it is now, this will be a huge benefit for our athletes here. I reckon Seb might have picked up a little bit of tempo here as well on that back straight and trying to get after Samuel Lindsay. So again, this yo-yo effect of racing that we've seen stays oh so consistent. Tasmanian though, just looks driven. He looks like he's put his head down over that kilometre, and let's just see what that comes out at because he's in the back stages now. He's over the hump of getting through halfway. Everybody has a different marker in terms of 5K racing where it may feel harder than others, but it typically is once you're starting to roll into that 3K zone and you're really trying to lock in because you know that last K is going to be what it'll be. But he's doing a really good job to just maintain and continue that consistency. And Seb Richards is walking out of his skin at the moment. The South Australian, he's very credentialed, 21:46. He's got multiple state titles there as well and also is a medalist. But this is a different kettle of fish here at the moment. He's looking very, very strong there as Max Davidson still leads on for the junior age group.
So 4:08 third kilometre there for our leader in Lindsay from Tasmania. So 12:09, 11 seconds adrift is our second place getter, the South Australian, Sebastian Richards, as we see Max Davidson now approaching the 3 kilometre mark.
So it's real hard to gauge because if you're sort of watching Sam Lindsay and the way he's walking, he's looked tired in the face the last, we'll call it 800 metres. But if you were monitoring the margin in which he's leading, it continues to just stretch metre on metre really at this point. So it just goes to show this is one tough competitor here, the young Tasmanian. But it is Seb Richards who's doing a really good job to just stay within touching distance, really. And whether or not that means it's a gold medal is sort of not the conversation we're having. The conversation we're having is how close can he go under that 2050 marker now is becoming oh so important. It looks like he's got a silver medal in his hand at worst. How quick can these guys go? They haven't really dropped too much, Tim.
That's right. So a lot of interest now because we know Lindsay's got the he should have the 2050 pretty much in the bag. So now it is really up to can Seb Richards just keep that momentum going. So he does a little time check as he goes. 4 laps to go for the South Australian. Davidson just rounding the bend as well now. So the top 3 on the track, and they are in different age groups, or there's 2 different age groups out there, are moving very, very nicely. We'll try and get a fix to some of the minor place getters too, Mitch, in the other age groups as they come around and give them due respect. But I tell you what, for those down in Tassie tuning into the live stream, it's not been a bad start to the championships with Canal so dominant in the throw earlier, and now we're seeing Lindsay, as probably expected, really putting on a show here for the 5,000 metre walk.
Absolutely. So a great day for those across the water here as Sam Lindsay continues to press on. And to your point, we will highlight as many of these minor medalists as we can here at the moment. Max Davidson moves through. I think it would still be Front, who's walking well for South Australia. The rest of this field is sort of making their way around here, and we will figure out these numbers as they go. But it's a very keen watch on Samuel Lindsay and also Seb Richards over the closing stages of this 5,000 metres. So we can see there 5 laps to go now for Christopher Nyland. Also behind him is Ali Znard from Western Australia. But down into this home straight once more, it is Samuel Lindsay. And when he makes his way back around this back straight to the 200-metre marker, he'll have 1K remaining. And then we'll know exactly where he's at.
I'll tell you what, Richards still going. This is good. He's not giving up whatsoever. And Sebastian Richards knows what's on the line here, and that is potentially a World Under-20 qualifier.
Well, you get a few opportunities, but not a lot. So every time you get one, it's important to make the most of it. And the South Australian's doing just that. I don't know Seb Richards, even if I fell over him. But what I can tell you is he looks like a tough competitor. I'll give him that much. So the South Australian continues to push. So too does Samuel Lindsay. Max Davidson in a world of his own in that under 15 or under 17 age group, I should say. And he's really kept his tempo up as well. Maybe slowed ever so slightly. That's natural. You're over a 5,000 metre journey. You can't hold on forever. But the Victorian's doing a really good job. I think that might still be Front, who's in second for that event. I haven't seen anybody go past him, although possibly our New South Welshman. But again, eyes have been fixated on this under-18 event up the front of the field. Sam Lindsay makes his way around a couple of competitors, and similar to what we said about the women, you just got to feed off those in front of you now and just draw them in and go to the next one.
So we're into the final kilometre now for our race leaders, and they are Samuel Lindsay from Tasmania in the under-18s. His competitor in the under-18, Sebastian Richards, just rounding the bend, and he'll be getting 2 laps to go. And also down the back straight, we'll see Davidson from Victoria. So 2 out. 17:04 on the clock. We did miss that 4 kilometre split, unfortunately, but he was walking around just around the 4:10 mark, I believe. So Lindsay still ticking along nicely. Richards just keep that momentum going. Sebastian Richards from South Australia. He's coming through to get 2 laps to go.
Well, it's hard for me not to be a cheerleader up here for Seb Richards at this stage because, again, we just really want to see him get under this time. And he's going to leave it all out there and see whether or not he can get there. But this is now a really strong performance over the back stages. Of course, I'm cheerleading Seb Richards, but I'm in awe of what Sam Lindsay's doing up here as well. Because, again, it is solo. He's out on his own. That lead, it has not blown out by any stretch of the imagination. But it is slowly, and it has surely got a little bit bigger just at that. So he's walking in a league of his own here at the moment, the Tasmanian. He'll be feeling very, very confident as now Seb Richards moves around part of this field as well. So fascinating final 600 metres to go for this group of 2. But Sam Lindsay, it looks like he's been working for a few laps here, but by God, has he been tough in that entire process. And the Tasmanian now, for the penultimate time, comes into this home straight.
So 500 out now for Lindsay. 18:20 thereabouts on the clock. 20:50 that qualification standard. See at the top, going past the water jump now, is Richards from South Australia. He'll be chasing that time. Has he got it in him, Mitch? Let's see. We've got 500 out. It will be close.
Well, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to do any mental math. I'm going to allow it to be what it is and call the moment for what it is. And that's an opportunity come a knocking. Maybe to get over to Eugene next year. We'll have to wait and see. But with less than 400 metres to go is Samuel Lindsay. And he's just in total control. He is just picking apart the final stages of this 5,000 metres, which exudes confidence. If you know that you can get towards the back end of this event and continue to push and continue to find that tempo, you take a lot from that. 400 metres to go. 19:06 was on the clock there. So will be a big final lap here for our man, Seb Richards. He's drawn plenty of fans here in the crowd, I hope, because he's 350 metres away from a big push. So
approaching the 200 out now. We know this one's going to get that World Junior qualifier. World Under 20 qualifiers, subject to our judges. We know that Richards is going to be oh so close, so we need the crowd to get behind Seb Richards here from South Australia. We might be the difference here for him, as streaming around that top bend now. Samuel Lindsay, we expected a big win here. We're getting just that, Mitch, and what a polished performance. 19.50 on the clock. He's got a whole minute to go down the home straight and salute the crowd, but a big performance here from the Tasmanian. They'll be going crazy in the Apple Isle. We love this guy. What a performer. We're going to see him hopefully get to that World Under 20 Championships, and what a race. Just over the 20-minute mark, 20.07. That is a new championship record. Samuel Lindsay, subject to our judges saying yes. And around the top bend, let's get the crowd going here. Seb Richards, 20.50. He's got 30 seconds to get home on that final 100. So 30 seconds, 25. Let's get him in there, get the crowd going here. Could we see 2 championship qualifiers in one race here this evening at Lakeside? He's got 15 seconds. Mitch, what do you reckon?
Yeah, Seb, you've got to get there, mate. You've got just 10 seconds to go to get under that World Junior time. Never in doubt for him. 20.44. That's a qualifier on paper, and that is a warm embrace there indeed, because it wasn't going to come easy for him, was it? He knew what he was tasked with 1 lap to go, and gets under that time, and mind you, gets a national silver as well.
Correct. Great competition there in the under-18s as we watch Davidson's not too far away from completing his journey in the under-17 competition. Freund was in second, so I'll be watching the lap boards coming as they go through to try and get our minor medalists in the other competitions.
Well, it's also important to note that when Sam Lindsay round into the 100 metres to go, Max Davidson literally broke out into an applause. And he was clapping his hands and he was getting around his fellow race walker there. 2 different age groups, but obviously at the same amount of respect for one another as Max Davidson gets his own moment here to salute as a national champion. 21.43 reads the clock. He was at 22.52, man, on paper here before this event began. I think he's going to be under 22. So 21.53, 21.54, the Victorian takes the under-17 title.
Fantastic.
So well done to our walkers there. Again, we saw 2 World Junior qualifying times. For those watching on, he can't believe it, the Victorian. We're going to come right back. We're going to throw to an ad quickly. Don't go anywhere. All schools still to come.
Chemist warehouse in the middle of our street.
We are back here. We are back. Told you we would come back. We got more of our walkers rolling through there. I saw Front finish things off here. Coming into the final 100 metres for his evening of racing. The South Australian. So he'll round on in here. We're just talking, well, for those at home, had the ad break. We were just in admiration for what we just saw out here in terms of times and racing, and how great of a start this would be for the All Schools Championships as we now see the South Australian round out into lane number 3. That's Liam Front. He'll finish off here as a medalist in the under-17 5,000 metre race walk. Well done, Liam. We can see our competitors continue to wait around. We talked about that sportsmanship earlier in the night. Well on display here.
So Ali Snad from Western Australia coming. He's got the bell. We will try and get a fix on. He is in the under-17 competition. So you can See, Davidson, I think Max was in a little bit of disbelief when he crossed the line, Mitch. He was very happy with that sub-22. So massive PB here this evening for the local, Max Davidson.
I think he's still in disbelief down there, Tim. I think he's asking for a fact check.
Check the lap board.
Sure.
Yeah. But rounding the bend, top bend now.
Is Alexander Sinet.
Yes, in it. He's in the under 18, so this could be our bronze medalist, I believe, in the under 18 competition.
He's a 25.08 walker, was Alex, so he's going to be just outside of that. But a great race, nonetheless.
Alexander Sinnott, New South Wales, will be just the wrong side of the 25-minute mark, but he'll be the bronze medalist provisionally in the under 18 competition.
Your medalist in the under 15 boys, 3,000 metres.
So we could be getting the bell here, possibly, for Kai Dale. We are.
Yep. So he'll be fourth in the under 18s.
And this is Christopher Nylon. Could this be our...
I think he'll be getting...
Or is he getting the bell? They don't seem too pressed to grab the bell, so that could be our bronze medalist.
Bronze medalist in the under 17 competition provisionally.
Well done, Christopher.
So Adley Zanard will take that fourth position in the under 17s.
And then that would leave our Queenslander and Kai Dale to round things out for the event and for the under 18 portion of the event. So 2 more races on the track. It's under 17 and under 18 women's 3K and under 17 and under 18 men's 3K. I'll give you some field event updates after we polish off our race walking. So Western Australian comes down to finish things off here. That is Ali Zanad rounding it out here in that under 17 event. Well done, Ali. Chris Nylon out there shaking hands, the whole crew out there showing support again, which we love.
They're a pretty tight bunch, the walkers. A lot of camaraderie amongst all of the competitors and mutual support as we see Kai Dale, Queenslander, coming around into the home straight last time to round out our field in that combined under 17 and under 18 5,000 metre walk competition.
So well done, Kai Dale. Finishing off here, men's under 18, 5,000 metre race walk. So behind the line now, it's our combined women's under 17, under 18, 3,000 metre final. We'll call them when they make their way around the track. Ooh, a couple of nervous steps there behind the line. Try again. Away here, it's the combined women's under 17 and 18 3,000 metre championship of Australia. Ruby Callahan, Bridget Williams, Isla Faye, Mia Bridgeland, Paige Rashid, Sienna Phillips make up the under 17 event, whilst for the under 18s, we've got Adelaide Williams, Caitlin Garrett, Pia Aberden, Lila Stewart, Leanne Ellis, Gypsy Waterston, Sienna McGee, Hannah Tournier, and Neve Rodney. Is the full field for the under 18s as well. So 15 total to contest. Those spread amongst the two age groups. Looks like our Western Australian and Lila Stewart will be the first to get down to the front there. Leanne Ellis as well, the Victorian. 2 940 runners at their best. Hannah Tournier, the South Australian, so we're watching out for. That may be her rounding around that outside shoulder. It is at that, so she now makes
predominantly the under-18s leading the way here. So you can see Alice sitting in second position. She was second in the National Cross. One of the top seeds at 9:43. Hannah Tournier, as you said, she took out the under-17 comp last year from South Australia. She's a 9:38 runner and on form or on seed times, probably our lead seed. The Western Australian, though, really going along nicely at the moment. And that's Lila Stewart. And also Gypsy Waterston's another one to watch out for. She was third in the New South Wales All Schools in 10:16. But ahead of her is Adelaide Williams from New South Wales, 10:02, and she's got a 9:52 best. So in the under-18 comp, it's quite willing. Up in the under-17s, Isla Faye from South Australia is one to really watch out for, and we're seeing quite a bunched field at the moment, Mitch.
Yeah, we certainly are. It looks like leading out that under-17s right now might be Bridget Williams. A couple of Victorians around there, but Faye as well right behind. So it's so early. I mean, we're about to get to 600 metres through this 3,000 metre journey, and they're relatively bunched up, to be honest with you. I mean, anything can happen from here. And it's obviously a couple of decisions that get made. Do you get out in front and just let the pack form behind you, or do you sit at the back of it and be close enough when the move is made to be able to go with it? A couple of those thoughts will be happening now. We see Williams of New South Wales just find herself in lane number 2 in that attempt to find a spot. This is what we're talking about, finding the spot. You want to try and have it locked in by the opening 800 metres, not move around any more than what you need to, but having the benefit of it all right now is Lila Stewart, who's just maintained that inside position, the Western Australian. Looming on the outside, Hannah Tournier, and from Queensland as well on the inside, Caitlin Garrett getting a nice run into the race. Sienna McGee from North Queensland too, so really, there's just so many still in this through the opening 800 metres, and I think they'll still be in it at 1 kilometre. You can see Faye there just at the back of this group, the South Australian, that under-17 event. Rodney outside, and Tim, there's not a lot that's changed here. Bridget Williams, the Victorian, I think just second behind Mia Bridgeland of New South Wales, leading out that under-17 event.
Bridgeland definitely one to watch out for. She won the New South Wales All Schools in 10:04. Williams won the Victorian All Schools in 10:15. Alice looking very good at the moment, and Adelaide Williams, as you said, just going wide, but gee, she's in a good position. She can cover all the moves from there. So Adelaide Williams from New South Wales, definitely one to watch early.
Yeah, talk about it a lot, at least in senior racing, the art of having an escape route. You know, you need to be able to get out when things start to get a little bit hairy, and at the moment, all these women really do have an escape route. Probably the only ones on the inside rail may not right now, but once that opens up, they will. And this group now starting to fracture a little bit. There's a few that are starting to just fall off the back, and that pace has been just injected ever so slightly. It looks like Leanne Ellis, the Victorian, just now working over the top of Lila Stewart in that under-18 event. And Adelaide Williams, Tim, you called it perfectly, just able to respond, able to move when the time comes, and the time has come, and now she puts herself in that second spot behind Hannah Tournier.
I think, yeah, and Alice just now getting onto the rails and starting to dictate the pace. As you said, I think it was a relatively conservative first K. They were probably around that 3:20, maybe just under, and that's comfortable. That's 10-minute pace for these girls. So our leaders, that would have been very comfortable. Now we're seeing the race unfold, and Alice has decided that she wants to really go for it early, and the next one to chase through, I think that is Tournier coming through in next position.
Yeah, and then following them is Caitlin Garrett, the Queenslander. So just puts herself in that third spot. That was a really quick response there from Bridgeland too, of New South Wales. So that's what we're talking about, the responses. How quickly can people actually be counteractive or proactive, I should say, to the moves being made ahead of them? And this entire group, that front group, has all been very proactive. They've been alert. Everybody's paying attention here at the moment. Just starting to feel it a little bit as Stewart, the Western Australian, who was in front. They sort of let it have her own way through that opening 1 kilometre, and now she's got to really find something. Also joining her is the North Queenslander and Sienna McGee. So just slowly but surely that pack is now just really starting to form down to a core group. But moving through really strong is Ellis. And then back there to Tournier. Really good moves from Garrett. Then following along closely is Williams. And then one behind there from the under-17 age group is Mia Bridgeland, who you eloquently described so well as, you know, the champion not so long ago.
Yeah, so Bridgeland now getting a bit of a gap on the other under-17. So Williams back in that chase pack about another 15 metres behind. But the interest now is out front in the under-18s with a really bunched pack here. As you said, Garrett, that was a good move by Garrett, the Queenslander. She's slipped into third. She's just to the outside there of Adelaide Williams. And this is going to be a very interesting race as they're approaching that 1 kilometre to go as they go around to the other side of the track. But Bridgeland now clearly ahead in the under-17 competition. I think Bridget Williams probably sitting in second position there. And then that might be number 5, I think coming through there would be Paige Rashid from South Australia. But out front, it's the under-18s. This is going to be easier for us to call, I think, Mitch, because it's the under-18s with Bridgeland tacked on beautifully, leading the under-17s in the lead pack. It's a group of 5. Yeah,
and it is fast approaching possibly a group of 3, although every time I say that, there's some form of response. It looks like Adelaide Williams is really keen to hold on to this group as long as she can. And look, if you're there when the kick's made, anything can really happen so long as you've got just a little bit left in the tank from there. Bridgeland now leading that under-17 group is probably the first to just go off the back here ever so slightly. 6:35.37, the split through that 2 kilometres. So it's quick, certainly. They're all moving.
Yeah, they definitely picked it up on that 2nd kilometre, and now the race is really starting to unfold. Now you can see Bridgeland just drifting a little bit from that lead group of 4, but she is leading her own competition by a good 20 to 25 metres now. But out front, Alice has done the work. She's doing the pacing there. Mitch, will she be able to continue that? She's strong. We know she's a good cross-country runner. She's been very good over the track in recent years as well, but can she dictate the pace? But Tournier, she is a champ. She knows how to win these races. She's sitting in second position.
Yeah, and just looks like she's waiting for a moment, doesn't she, there, the South Australian, just waiting for a position to be able to get out there and really test this field. You get that sense when you're sitting in second place. You're just biding your time, and it doesn't really seem like she's grimacing all that much at the moment, though Ellis doing a really good job to keep this group at bay. The Queenslander has been a really good racer there, and Caitlin Garrett too, just been tucked in on that inside, really been unfazed by what's been happening in front of her, and these 2 women out in front haven't probably had to pay too much attention. And Williams, so there's 2 real surprise packs behind this leading duo. It's certainly not done with yet, as now you can just start to feel the occasion. It's starting to uptick. It's starting to get a little bit faster now, and that is a tight group of 3 all stuck together.
Tournier looks like she's ready to pound, so just sitting one out, one back. Garrett on the rails behind Alice, then a little bit of a gap to Adelaide Williams. But Tournier, for mine, is probably looking in that position where she really wants to go. But the question is, Mitch, when?
It's all about picking your moment. Too early and you might burn out, and too late you might miss it. So it's really trying to pull it down to perfection. But now we start to see Tournier just try and get around. The emphasis there is try, because really doing a good job to hold out is the young Victorian on the inside in Leanne Ellis. So she knows how important holding that rail around the bend is. Here's the bell, and now these 2 are really going to try and battle it out over the 350. Garrett not far away either.
So the long legs, but it looked, gee, good move by Alice. She just went wide in the lane. Make it hard for Tournier, but Tournier just stalking on the shoulders there. Bridget Williams, I think, still sitting in second, and you've got Rashid chasing her down for the bronze in the under-17s. But out front, it's so exciting, side by side, Mitch.
These 2 have just been battling it out the whole way, and now Tournier finally, the moment she's been waiting for to get to that lead has become real. 200 metres to go for the South Australian. Ellis, though, is tough. She did a really long piece of work to keep the South Australian out of lane number 1, and now the roles have been reversed with 150 metres to go. So Tournier on the inside now. Ellis gets the best of her on the outside with 100 metres to go. And as they round in, this game of cat and mouse might have just gone the way of the mouse here. So Ellis away from Tournier made a really strong move to put pressure on the Victorian, but it was going to take a little bit more than that. Out in the lane number 3, national champion for the Victorian. Well done to Tournier. Just waited and waited and waited and found something, and a big kick over the top. Adelaide Williams gets up for the third. Settling for fourth there will be Caitlin Garrett, who was oh so strong. And now, finishing things off for the under-17s, Mia Bridgeland will be the national champion for the younger age, just on 10 minutes.
So a great run there from Bridgeland. Looks like Bridge Williams from the local club here, South Melbourne. I'll give him a yowls. She'll get the silver medal there. And I'd say it would be Rashid from South Australia taking the bronze in the under-17 competition. But, gee, great races. I would have put my classes down with Tornia when she made that move, Mitch. I thought she had it. But Leanne Alice, she has got 1, 2, 3 big hearts in there, and she just lifted again.
Well, it's just so hard when you're getting that pressure on your outside shoulder. 400 metres to go. Hold the rail, hold the rail, hold the rail. Get past. Back yourself with 200 and find a little bit of something. And it has to be hats off there to Tournier as well, because to be able to continue to push and press and really only the last 90 metres be taken over for a national title, it's oh so impressive. So again, these junior stocks are just showing what they're made of, and whew, that is as tough as it comes for 3,000 metre racing.
Well, of the top 5, there's already 4 PBs in the listing there. So 9:40.22, the official winning time. Leanne Alice in the under-18 competition. 10:00.61, the official winning time. Mia Bridgeland from New South Wales in the under-17s.
Perfect. So finishing things off here is Pia Aberden as well from Tasmania. Well done to her. Finishes off her stint here in the 3,000 metres. For those watching along at home, we have one more track event here remaining for the first night of these All Schools Championships. Don't go anywhere. We're going to go on ad break, and we will be right back. So, told you we'd be back. It was quick. I never lie. I said we're always quick. We're always quick. The crew here does such a phenomenal job. Well, keeping me in check, not Tim. Tim is always in check. It's keeping me in check. Anyway, 18 are going to line up here. This is the under-17, under-18 men's 3,000 metre event. This is the last track event for night number 1 of the All Schools. A very, very good field at that. And it's one of those where we pay close attention to one of our under-17 athletes. But, of course, we pay attention to everybody. I'm not saying that we're only looking at one, but there is a young man here with the world at his feet. Going to be a good race here, under-17, under-18 men's 3,000.
So once again, we will introduce the field once they are underway. It is the combined under-17 and under-18s with 18 starters. So underway now. So we have 10 starters in the under-17s in Station 1, Cameron Bloom from New South Wales. Kieran Shepherd, the ACT, in 2. Jack Lana, Victoria, in 3. Harry Prohl from Queensland, Station 4. Luca Gigliotti from Queensland in 5. Oliver Stanfield, McDonald, Western Australia in 6. Lewis Peach from South Australia in 7. In 8, Will Potter, Tasmania. Ethan Dongas from New South Wales in 9. And Harry Maddox from Victoria in Station 10. In the under-18 competition, 8 starters. Adrian McDermott, Victoria in 11. Bailey Horvath from The Queensland in 12, Lucas Sidoritis from Victoria in 13, Samuel McCabe from ACT in 14, Callum Cumming, Western Australia in 15, Marcus Keys, New South Wales 16, Oliver Lafort, Western Australia in 17, and Joel Harler, New South Wales in 18. Mitch, how are they settling?
They are settling into a very easy rhythm here in the opening 400 metres. Every single man in this field is currently in it. So usually indicates that the pace is something that everybody can keep up with, and that's never a bad thing, really, as now we see the Western Australian maybe just start to see what he can do. That Stanfield McDonald goes around Kieran Shepherd. I can see McDermott in there, the Victorian. What's that, about 72, so 9-minute pace here at the moment. Many in here capable of being able to run that. So be an easy rhythm out in front. What it does do is it leads everybody in it. What else it does is anybody who's got a kick right now is a very, very happy man.
Now, who are you talking about before saying that we've got a very talented, in the lower age group here, you wouldn't mean referring to Kieran Shepherd, would you?
I certainly am. Now, this man's no stranger to winning national titles, is young Kieran Shepherd. He is oh so quick. He may have booked a spot on that World Junior Cross-Country team as well. He was always an ACT boy, runs well at those championships because they know that Stromlo course so well. But this is a guy who can really pick apart a field and is one of the guys that can either lead it from the gun or also have one hell of a kick if it should it come to it. And at the moment, it's looking like that might be the style of racing we see. McDermott now out in front, but has no real urgency at this point, Tim, to really push that tempo to try and get rid of parts of this pack here at the moment. He's more than happy to be able to let the field settle. And I'm always a believer in this, and I'm always a critic of it. Every single person, man, woman or child, believes they've got the best kick. I don't know what it is. I don't know what they see in training where all of them have this pseudo-confidence that they've got the best kick, but there will only be one in this field that does have the best kick. But you're leaving it to chance with everybody in there. Now we start to see, finally, a new leader. That's Luca Sidoritis. Now get to the front.
Now, remarkably, this meet record goes back to 1977. It would have to be one of the oldest. So Michael Thompson from the ACT, 8:23.20. I don't think it's under threat now, Mitch, unless they do a massive kick down, because they are running here just for championship style racing, making our job that little bit harder. But it is Sidoritis on the rails and McDermott to the outside of him. Then we've got one of our New South Wales competitors.
And that would be Joel Harler.
Oh, Joel was down here for the Vic 5K not so long ago and had a very good run in the 5,000 metres. So Harler, I think he's from South Coast, New South Wales, Limited's track team, on days.
It looks like there might be Bailey Horvath as well. The Queenslander is not too far away from all the action up front here too.
Yeah, but as you say, it's pretty much all in together at the moment. Now we've had a break, and it looks like Sidoritis has just put the foot down and said, okay, guys, let's go. Let's really make this interesting. And now we're seeing who can respond to that. So Sidoritis making a little bit of a charge there. And it is, my apologies, that's Avery McDermott, so the Bendigo boy. Wouldn't say he's been in the greatest of form in this early part of the season, Avery. He had a great year, really big breakthrough year last year, but Avery now really putting it down and going for it. So this has set the pace up, and then they ease it back as they all start to come together again.
Yeah, it's always interesting. I feel like Avery just got sick of sitting in there and maybe heeded my words of everybody believing they've got the greatest kick, but now it's kind of pulled it back a little. It's kind of done it like a surging type of race, which can really flush the legs out of part of that group. If you haven't really trained for that, if you haven't been doing the hot-cold method of training, this sort of stuff can really hurt. But Avery McDermott did enough to sort of flush out parts of this field and now just maybe took a little look on his right-hand shoulder and went, anybody? Nobody? Okay, I'll keep on going here. So McDermott, happy to lead here at the moment. A beautiful running style on him as well, it must be said. But we can see here now that some real class competitors of this group are sensing what's coming here and really want to make sure they're part of it. It looks like Harry Prohl, the Queenslander, now just moves up on the shoulder of his fellow statesman there in Bailey Horvath, but still out in front's McDermott, Shepherd. That's Harler, that's Pest behind there, Gioglotti as well. So now they're starting to move. We can see some hands, some elbows, some arms coming out there to try and protect their space, but it's hard to do. It's hard to navigate inside of a phone box, and that's what a lot of these gentlemen here at the moment are trying to do.
So McDermott's still doing a good job of just forcing that pace and just trying to watch what Shepherd wants to do here. So Kieran Shepherd from the under-17 comp, looked earlier as if he was just on a Sunday long run, but now you can just sense that a little bit of urgency is coming into it as they've got 3 laps to go. So it's going to start to get serious. They're going to hit the 1K to go, and there are going to be a lot of players still in this race in both age groups.
Yeah, it's going to be messy. I think the worst of it is now over because everybody seems to be stringing out, though there's going to be flyers sort of coming from everywhere. So it almost might be overstimulating trying to watch this. Lewis Pesh now from South Australia puts himself up there a little bit further. We saw Maddox there from Victoria put himself in a spot for 4th. And now he just continues to push up there, Harry Maddox. So Maddox with Pesh on his outside shoulder. Shepherd just going to trail that group. Hovath puts his hand out one more time. It says, boys, I want some space, but you've really got to work for it in there. It's Prohl behind McDermott, who in the end, the move that he made may have just been the smartest because he's really the only one in this group thus far that hasn't had to put the hand out, chop, change, figure things out. He's just hung on the rail, and now this group wants to move around. Look at that. We can see it again. There's just plenty happening in this group. Yeah. And now Pesh goes bang and says, come on, boys, let's run.
And Maddox follows him. You've also got Prohl still in the mix as well. And also, I'm just trying to watch where Shepherd. He's gone onto the rails here. So he's in a safe space, but he's got to be able to move out. Probably still leading Prohl's probably leading that under-17 group at the moment. My apologies, though, Petch is in the under-17s as well. So the younger grouping here really looking good. And they're serving it up to Shepherd. Will he come home like a train, though? What's he got? What's the kick like? And that's what we're going to find out 600 metres out.
Well, there's about 10 people in this race right now that could really do something, and we're watching for 1 or 2 individuals, but really, like I said, anytime you leave so many gentlemen in this race, you're just going to have carnage that really does ensue, and everybody now wants to get up there. You can see even McDermott's had to work pretty hard to put himself back in a position out on that outside, and if he takes a look on his right-hand shoulder and sees Shepherd, he'll know what this race is about to be. So the South Australian was the one to explode here a lap ago, and now McDermott comes back. So this is a fantastic style of racing. He thought he was done. He thought there was a nail in the coffin, but he's opened it back up and says, I'm not dead yet. And here he comes, the sleeping giant, Kieran Shepherd.
Shepherd to the outside now. A little bit of pushing and shoving. As you see, the 2 Victorians leading the way. And now we have a change in lead, as it looks like that is Maddox, I think, leading. But now Shepherd goes. So the big kicks come. He's been waiting, biding his time. But look at this. This is the class of Kieran Shepherd. He's not worried about meet records here today. There's 8:05 on the clock as they go around. But Shepherd just stretching out in the under-17 competition. I think Maddox in next position. Is that Harler coming through? It could well be. The New South Welshman. And that will be also up there. You've still got McDermott. He's just starting to drift back through the field. But into the home straight now. Kieran Shepherd, very impressive running. Just bided his time. He knew he had the class. He knew he had the time. But Kieran Shepherd really coming home strong. Now we're seeing, is that McDermott back into it again? So it will be Shepherd who takes the win. McDermott to the outside, and on the inside there, that was Jack Larner. We hadn't called him the whole way, Mitch, but Jack Larner came through. He had a great race with Harler only a few weeks ago, and I think Harler might have been right up there as well. So we'll try and differentiate our age groups here. So Shepherd...
I think McDermott's won the under-18s.
Yeah, could well be.
And he's had to come over the top there. It looked like it was Harry Maddox in that under-17 event, though, that he was really chasing after and maybe just set him up to really get that win in the end. It is going to be Avery McDermott that wins it for the under-18s. Kieran Shepherd won for the under-17s. Jack Larno, you said he hadn't really called a great deal there, but this just goes to show there were so many in that race towards the back end. The rest of this field makes their way down, but he'll be second with a PB of 8:41. The young Victorian Avery McDermott does enough to be the national champion for the under-18s. We're waiting for the rest of these results to come through.
We didn't call Lana at all.
He just flew.
So Jack had a really good win. I think it was the under 25k champs here a couple of weeks ago. And as I said, him and Harler had a ding-dong battle there. And I don't think they've been separated by much again here today. So, but well done to Avery McDermott. He was in, he was out, he was in, he was out. But I think the Bendigo crowd will be very happy with that one, with Avery McDermott taking an Australian All-Schools Championship in the under-18 category in 8:41.23. We'll just wait for more times to appear here on Rustra Athletics. And great work once again by our photo finish team. I've got to say that because they're standing right next to me. But it has been good to see these the times coming through. So Harry Maddox, he took the bronze medal in the under-17s. Joel Harler, he'll be rewarded with the... So Joel Harler will take the silver medal in the under 18s. And then we've got to scroll down a little bit to get our next under.
Bailey Horvath.
Bailey Horvath from Queensland will take the bronze in the under 18s. So what an interesting race that was. That was Melbourne Cup racing.
That was Melbourne Cup racing. We can't thank you guys enough for being here with us on this Thursday evening. Night one of these all-school championships. We've seen World Junior qualifiers. We've seen championship records, gold medal, silver, bronze, lifetime best, all achieved here on night number one. We'll be back tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, all here. Big thanks to Tim Crosby, obviously, for the fantastic race calling. The whole crew, everybody back at house, AA, AV, everybody. Get some sleep. We'll be right back here tomorrow for the National All-School Championships.